guys. Oh, do this to them!
I'm so sorry.
You've killed them! Look at them!
FaZe still in contention though. FaZe up a real possibility.
Really?
I think it really is. Oh, no!
Oh no!
It's FaZe down!
No, I'm so
On
sorry.
your face!
I'm so sorry.
Why would you do this to them?
I'm so sorry.
You've killed them! Look at them! They're dead! Huh?
Oh!
What?
Excuse me.
He's waiting out.
Just needs to move forward.
They are out in the open. He's waiting for the tree to provide some cover. You can see he wants to move out to the right hand side here. He's
we
going
go.
for the shots, lines up, the one for top, looks for the knock and action. So far, leaderboard. Lane to the side of those buildings, misses the nade through the window. Struggling to make the entry now into the UMP.
Help! Help! Reject Duello.
Ow! Somehow Imperium stays alive for the time being. Oh, Fredo, that's not a good thing at all. Was it Max? Well, Max, how do you like that? Well, Caleris first. Yeah, Max. Fine, how do you... They're guaranteed a top 4. Attacker and Longs all, but they just might be arriving straight to their doom. A Molotov taking so much damage as well. Crossing from Nick with Galaxy effect. Freaking lord, he can never count him. You know he did. They just the kill for FaZe as Fredo's getting like, wait. How? Oh no!
Control of the building, rising.
I got a bad feeling about this.
Nope.
Huh?
No! God! No! God, please, no! Come on!
Probably trying to delay the inevitable. He spotted where all 3 members are, but for him to isolate these fights, getting 1v1s, I don't think they're going to be affording him that. He gets the first knock. Now, he has been tagged quite low. They're trying to confirm the kill, which he will, onto 8 so I guess that's the best case scenario there for 628. At least get the 1 point, but they will be knocked out as well, joining their Chinese counterparts in the form of Nova.
Because if you look at the team list here, there's one massive team missing. Nova did not qualify into our second Super Weekend, but that worries me, Max. Is this replicating the performance from last year where they didn't qualify? I believe it was the second or third Super Weekend. I can't remember off the top of my head, but they still went on to win the entire event.
Well, I think we've got to stop saying BTR prank, okay? I think that's not valid anymore. I think we've got to start saying this Nova prank that's happening right now, okay? They're just taking a little more of a break, a small vacation before going into that third Super Weekend, which I'm pretty sure they're going to try their best to make it for that tournament. They're still trying to do that. Paraboy was the top 4 in terms of elimination at the end of the league play, and in terms of overall damage, he was top 3 right behind Action at top, which are you going to be Action at top after how good of a league player had? Pretty hard, but the fact that they've not qualified and the Paraboy is that high is so impressive.
A little bit too deep, but this is the opportunity FaZe were looking for, and Tony K, Run and Gun, the Dogs Macabre, and Team Secret will be eliminated. Genesis Dogma helping them out, and FaZe Clan third place. Great work for MS Chonburi, and it's all on Stall, it's all on Pika, the 1v4. Looking unlikely, they're pushing in, and they make a quick work of it. For a moment there, Imperium, it's Stall with esports. I've seen him pull off almost 1v4s, but FaZe played that one to perfection. I don't
it is technically the first back-to-back win in a singular day from the team, and it's FaZe able to get it, and they had such a good play from the very start until the very end. They played Ricardo and brings up a world of opportunities in terms of where you want to rotate, how you want to rotate. You go from good high ground position to good high ground position to just maximize the information input.
I saw the first light, the first steps. Now I see much more. I capture Earth in all its beauty. I see action. I see drama. And I see it in the finest detail. Moments of inspiration. And the first steps. I am the 1+9.
PUBG Mobile fans around the world, welcome to the 2021 PUBG Mobile Global Championship. To the top teams across all regions, we have a message for you. The Middle East, you have proven your worth. Now, make your formidable debut on the PMGC stage. South Korea, forget the past. This year, show the world you've ascended. Remind the world of South Korea's raw talent. Japan, you came so close last year. But what doesn't kill you only makes you stronger. Bring it back better than ever. The Americas, you're the alpha dogs that dominated the West. Now, lead the pack on the world stage. Southeast Asia, you took down so many strong teams on your journey to the top. It's time for a comeback on the global stage. Europe, it's now or never. Push your limits and surprise us all. This is the moment to create your legacy. South Asia, you were the dark horse of 2020. Amaze those who would underestimate you again. China, you carry the crown of last year's PMGC. Now, with everyone's eyes on you once more, can you secure back-to-back victories? PMGC needs a champion. The world needs a champion. Who will stand victorious in the end? Who will be next to glory?
Hello, PUBG Mobile fans. It's almost time to bring together the world's top teams for the PUBG Mobile Global Championship 2021. This year's PMGC has a total prize pool of $6 million for teams and players, and tons of great rewards for our fans as well. PMGC will consist of 2 stages, League and Grand Finals. The League phase will last from November 30th to December 24th. During the League phase, teams from the Americas and Europe will compete in the West League, while teams from Asia and the Middle East will compete in the East League. Each league, 20 teams will compete on Tuesdays and Wednesdays for 16 slots to compete on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday in that week's Super Weekend. The total Super Weekend scores over the first 3 weeks will determine which 16 teams will compete in the PMGC League Finals during the final week. The top 9 teams from the East League Finals, the top 6 teams from the West League Finals, and a special invited team will advance to the PMGC Grand Finals. The PMGC Grand Finals, which will take place on January 21st, 22nd, and 23rd, will determine the PMGC 2021 Global Champions. Who will be the next to glory? Don't miss a single minute of exciting PMGC action.
It is dawn of the final Super Weekend. Well, I guess it's not dawn. It is the day of the final Super Weekend, as all of these teams are trying to take a top 16 position at the end of our 3rd day of play here to determine if they're making it through the finals, or they unfortunately have to watch from the sidelines from their homes. A lot of money on the line here with $6 million in total, and every team wishes they could be a part of our grand finals kicking off next year in January, where it's going to be 6 teams from the West up against 9 teams from the East, and 1 special team coming in from India. Which team it's going to be? Well, we still don't know just quite yet, but we know it's going to be a kick-ass team, and it's going to be an exciting tournament nonetheless. I'm Jason Kaplan, joined by Clarus and Professor Tarzan. Speaking of kick-ass, gentlemen, we're back here once again. We've had some teams unfortunately fail to qualify. We've had some teams finally be able to make it through in time. And now they're on the grind, right? They're on that grind to break through top 16. Some teams have a little bit more work to do than others, but they're always in arm's reach. They are in grasp of breaking through and making it in.
But I think it's really cool coming into this Super Weekend, of course, because we have ourselves a slightly different landscape coming into this Super Weekend. In the previous 2, you're looking at your Infinities and thinking, wow, they're number 1. Wow, they're really cool. And Stalwart, like, looking so high in the tables. Wow, they're really cool. However, things have been shaken up a little bit, Jason, which I think is awesome. Cryptics and FaZe looked great in the league play, and I'm excited to see how they're going to do coming into this Super Weekend.
Yeah, exactly. And as you can talk about the Super Weekend here, this is our final Super Weekend. We've had 3 weeks of league play. Top 16 teams are able to get through to the Super Weekend every single week, where all their points will stick here in the Super Weekend to determine our top 16 at the end into our league finals. We're playing 6 matches a day across the 22nd, 23rd, and 24th. It's really not a lot of time here, Tarzan. If you're a team that's a marathon team and you can play out these long tournaments and do well, but you can't seem to do well and perform when it comes to just 3 days of matches, it's going to hurt you. And you need to be a really well-rounded team to be able to qualify.
Yeah, of course. We talk about the mentality coming in as well. We look at these teams needing to catch up in points, right? Look at these teams that only played 1 Super Weekend. They actually did pretty well in that league stage. I think that is going to add a lot of spice to it. We're talking about Nova, Don Kia, and even Bigatron. They're doing quite well, like in the past 2 days, or should I say 2 days ago. So that is going to really switch things up.
Well, we can see what they're playing for. $6 million total in prize pool. I mean, that's 5 times more, Clarus, than we had last year. I'm just really curious now, is PMGC 2022 going to have $30 million on the line?
Well, if it does, then I'll also be asking for a pay rise. But I think, yeah, it would be fantastic for all of these teams if it does keep rising on up. But this is a huge prize pool. This is literally life-changing money. And I think all of these guys, you know, the way they grind, the way they're able to attain these very top spots here in this excruciatingly difficult game when you're playing at the top, it's very well deserved. So I'm excited for them.
Yeah, I'm really excited as well. I mean, Nova, they are going to be able to requalify into the finals yet again and potentially not redeem themselves, but defend their championship title. We can see here, though, the list of teams that will be participating. And honestly, there are quite a few teams in there not safe at the moment. We got FaZe Clan, we got DXavier, Damwon, all trying to make it through into the next stage, and they have a lot of work to do to make it happen. There's a couple of teams who didn't even qualify that might drop out potentially of the top 16. TJB, in my mind, there's a very good chance. I think there's a very, very realistic chance they're not going to qualify now because they didn't make it into this final Super Weekend.
It's tough, right? 163 points isn't gonna cut it, I feel like. Like, some of these teams come in with a lot more points in just 1 week, right? So if they can just repeat half of what they've done in those 1 Super Weekend that they played for these bottom teams, they are going to be okay. I think it's going to look very dire. Like, if certain teams haven't come up stronger, like Dead Ice guys, because they missed the last Super Weekend, but unlike these other teams who want to make it through again, they were not doing very good in that league play.
Yeah, not at all. What about some other teams here, Clarus? They really like focusing on. Obviously, there's 2 ways you can look at it, right? Of trying to hold their position top 16 or make it in top 16, or just kind of trying to keep their form going into the finals.
Yeah, I mean, I think FaZe Clan really does jump out for me, of course. Currently, because they missed that first Super Weekend, I actually did mention them at the top of the show already anyway, because they did so well in our previous league stage. But the fact that they are currently in 17th right now means that they do have a little bit of work to do here. But considering the past 2 weeks worth of form that we've seen from them, I'm not too concerned for them. I think that they're looking much better. They're sweeping much better. They're taking fights much better. So I think I have my eyes on FaZe Clan, but I'm not that worried about them, Jason, here.
Yeah, indeed. I think, you know, if we look at Secret DRS, I don't know, man. Like, realistically, is there a world where they drop out? I find it hard. I mean, we had, 119 points for Bigatron, so if they double their points, they're up to, 130 238.
Yeah.
Or 238, sorry. They would pass
Yeah.
Secret and DRS, but I don't know if I can see like Xavier, Damwon be able to pull off the performance to pass 227 points.
Yeah, I think they'll be safe. But that makes it quite exciting down towards the bottom, right? Because anybody, apart from TJB, anybody that's going to be fighting to stay in the grand finals has a the opportunity to defend themselves on the battleground right here, right now. So you're looking at those kind of anyone 19 through 11, I want to say, or even up to 10. I think all of those teams going to be jostling for position, and it could come down to the very final game. Actually, it will probably come down to the final game here in the Super Weekend.
I mean, Tarzan, be perfectly honest with me. And every time I ask this question, I feel like I always get no, it's not going to happen. Hot drops, man. I mean, if you're Infinity, if you're any of the teams in like top 5, like why not? If you want to keep out potentially FaZe Clan, who have been looking phenomenal this last week, maybe you want to keep out Bigatron. Like there's options. Even Nova, if you focus them somehow, there are ways and options here to keep some big contenders out of the actual grand finals.
See, you know what? I think it will happen, but the reason behind that is when they have these a little bit of weird and different playing paths, and they know they have to contest for cars. So instead of just playing that game where they fight around cars, drop to the closest compound, and sometimes that's the 4v4. We've seen it before, maybe between, let me think, Genesis Dogma and Bigatron themselves. So that can happen over at West Farm, again, on a very western playing path. But I'm also looking at some of these other teams who feel some comfort, right? They have not been dropped on in a way, like Rika Infinity team, but what could they do with that, with that space around them? They've not been doing so well, and to be fair, if they repeat kind of the way that they play in league play, they can't really pass Team Secret, maybe.
Yeah, very true. Very, very possible. As we take a look at a head-to-head from some really standout players, I feel like Newsy and Daybot, Daybot in particular, at least for this last week, has just been off the charts, honestly, Claris. And it's so great, again, to see like some teams have these players that rival and surpass the old guard, I would so to say.
Yeah, definitely. I think when you look at Genesis Dogma, I will admit I came in as a skeptic of Genesis Dogma, but the results speak for themselves. Look at what they've been able to put up. Guys like Daybot here for them, guys like Satara as well, just amazing performances across the board. And compared against Newsy as well, I mean, the Infinity were, of course, on my radar. They had to be, but not quite to the level that they've been able to show here as well. And Newsy's been a big standout for them. And again, I think it's awesome that we're here and having these performances because we're creating stars on this kind of international stage. And I think that's great, Jason.
Exactly. They're making a name for themselves, not only for this tournament, but for the entire year and probably for the entire lifetime of PUBG Mobile, to be perfectly honest. We do have a quick little matchup here, though, between Stalwart and Bigatron, 4th and 5th place teams, respectively. And again, I mean, we have to give credit. Like, Stalwart, yeah, this is, like, consistent for them to play this well. They normally play even better than they did last week. But Bigatron, the turnaround they've had from week 1 of not qualifying to qualifying week 2 to qualifying yet again in week 3 is a true testament to how strong of a team they can be.
Yeah, I think points is one thing. The other side of stats would be damage, etc. And right now, when you match Bigatron for that 1 week that they played, they actually kind of on par with Star Esports. So that is actually a very, very good sign. And if we actually want to compare these two teams, Bigatron with the boost of a very much improved 3rd week of league play against maybe Star with a little bit of a slip, like things can really change up. Like with the last bit of pressure in these 3 days with the possibility, I think teams who dare to try something new might be heavily rewarded.
And important for Bigatron as well here is that they have had a big step up, I feel like. That first week it was a shambles, Jason, unfortunately for them, but we've definitely seen kind of the rise up. It's not even just in the fact that they've been playing overall better. I think their positioning has been overall better. All you have to do is cast your mind back to that Miramar game where Luxie's going way up onto the high ground and being the Eye of Sauron, looking down on the entire field, letting nothing move. And that's what the Bigatron that I want to see here in this Super Weekend.
Yeah. There's something with the roster as well. We talk about Ryzen not being in the mix. Sometimes it's a comparative strength. Like Liquid is in there. You can see, maybe damage output not as much. But when it comes to macro, the pre-shift preparation and scouting, that is where he stands.
Okay, well, looking ahead now. We see Erangel, Miramar, Erangel, Sanhok, Erangel is going to be our entire list throughout these next 3 days. pretty standard what we've seen. It's exactly what we've seen every single Super Weekend so far. So at least teams don't have to worry about playing out, you know, half of their matches on Sanhok or half of their matches on Miramar. They just have to worry about playing half of their matches, well, more than that, on Erangel. And hopefully that's a map going to be extremely well versed on. And let's be honest, they sure as hell better be. But looking ahead, I think it's really important for teams, and we kind of talked about this before, like Infinity last week in League play, that they don't necessarily need to requalify. They're fine. I was saying, you know, why not just maybe like just hot drop a lot of teams, and if you don't qualify, not a big deal. You get some extra time off, you get to relax. But instead, they actually did bring in some subs, and the subs performed pretty well. Let's be perfectly honest. Here, though, again, do you expect them to just test some things, Kalaris, because they know they have 3 days of free games pretty much? There's no difference in prize pool. You don't get any reward for getting first place or 16th place into the finals. I'm curious if you have any thoughts individually about how that's going to work.
I think, just briefly, I think that a team like Infinity, I think they're going to just come out all guns blazing. I think they're going to field their A-list roster, and I think they're going to use this as the perfect practice going into the final.
Okay. Well, really quickly before we do get into some more of these teams here, we're going to talk about OnePlus and how it's our sponsor here at PMGC with its flagship performance, an immersive 120Hz display and hyper-touch technology made specifically for gamers. The OnePlus 9 Pro, your best shot to climb what, Tarzan?
The leaderboards.
Nice. I like to make sure everyone is listening and paying attention here, and it's not all just on me. But you can see Erangel will be coming up first here in about 1 minute and 30 seconds time. So we're flying straight through this show and flying straight into Erangel here. And I think probably it's time to get our predictions in then, if we want to start to talk about those as well. I'll start things off because you know what? I'll just be like that. Infinity. Why not? Like the one time I don't predict them, they win. So let's get them back on a losing streak, I guess. I don't know. That sounds weird. Kalaris, go ahead.
I'm going to go with Nova, and a lot of the time, I'm usually not really on the Nova hype train. However, this has to be the time that they now show us here in the crunch that they can perform and defend their title down the line.
Okay, Tarzan, who do you got?
Genesis Dogma. They are really, really good. And I think I have more explanation to do when it comes to the fondness over this team. It's almost like if you have a list of typical strengths and weaknesses on a whole sheet, and then you're trying to check the relevant boxes. They have so many strengths and so little common weaknesses.
Yeah, well, we'll see if they can keep those weaknesses very low indeed, as we're going to head over to our commentators. Speaking of weaknesses, Bled has done, if you saw his picture at the gym, and Imperium as well, both getting that iron pump.
All right, thank you, Jason. I know I have none. Getting a little bit sold nowadays, but I need to ask you, maybe you can answer this later on when the desk comes up, why you have completely ruined the Infinity's day again. They were winning stuff when you weren't picking them, Jason. And Imperium, I mean, why has it done this?
Look, I don't know. Jason is the kind of evil that is underlying, that's, you know, that's shrouded in kind of the nice smile and the pretty face and the lovely voice.
So kind of like a Bond villain.
Kind of, yes. A little bit like a Bond villain, yes.
Not a swab, though, not a swab. You know, Jason's a bit more of a brute, in a good way. If there is a good way of being a brute, I don't know.
I was just gonna say, man.
We're jumping into the first map here, the first game of the final Super Weekend. 4 teams have sat this one out, unfortunately not able to qualify for the final Super Weekend. But Imperium, man, I am so hyped. At the same time, I'm very nervous for a few of these teams, because while we have the likes of the Infinity, while we have teams like Genesis Dogma, and some of the top dogs like Starwood Esports are pretty much confirmed to play in the finals, for about quite a handful of them, everything depends on how they play these coming 3 days.
Yes, it's very open overall in terms of who's going to make it in to the finals. There's 2 teams in my eyes confirmed to not make it in. That is, of course, BC Swell. Unfortunately, didn't make it to any Super Weekend. And Tong Jiao Bao. They're on 163 points. It's below the cutoff. I can see all of the teams below them pass them up. So that means there's 2 spots available for teams to not make it into the finals. And when you have the likes of Nova, Deadeye's guys, BTR, FaZe, Desavior, Down One Gaming, and Cryptics all fighting to stay out of those 2 spots, it's leading to a very spicy 15 games.
was looking like it was gonna be a bit spicy there for Roth against Powerboy, but Powerboy decides, you know what, it's fine. I'll let him be. Looking at the points as you were touching upon, yeah, 160 for the side of Tang Jiabao. It's looking rough, right? And now looking at the zone, we haven't seen too much of a Kameshki Stolber zone, right? It's usually been centralized. We've seen quite a few Sosnovka circles coming in, but this could be interesting. I personally love seeing a final Severny zone, especially, with a little bit of water action coming into play.
I would love to see the Phase 2 continue to shift up the north, up towards the northeast. Stalbar Kameshki would be absolutely spot on for me as a circle ending, because we just haven't really seen it in the PMGC. FaZe Clan, though, starting today, sending a bit of a message to Cryptics and the rest of the teams in the lobby. Do not mess with us. We saw on the league stage they played Bull Shark, so they were having that kind of optional substitute, participating in to get them some game practice. And now it is what they right now perceive as the OG crew, which is Corpie, MR5, Ventores, and Tony K. Cannot forget about Beer11 and how much of a positive impact he's had on the team and their performances. But led by MR5, I'm sure they're confident of doing everything they can to stay in the PMGC finals.
For sure. FaZe have. I won't lie. At the at the end of week 1, I'm like, FaZe, BTR, yeah, they're really not delivered.
Yes.
I don't think it's looking good. But hey, hold up, Enigma Galaxy. Out of nowhere, just assassinating a member of Nova.
Interesting.
Open, and I see none of his teammates in the vicinity. Yeah, I think you said it right. That is interesting.
Because Enigma aren't known to disengage away from Pachinki too early. And I really feel that was a little bit of a targeted kill onto Nova, because Nova do play split. So if the vehicle was taken away from Roof, in the mind of Nigma, I can bet they were thinking, wait, he's probably going to be looting up close by. Roof has been on his own, but the rest of us have looted up. Let's go for the kill, and then we'll go back to Pachinki. That's really good for Nigma. That's the kind of fight, that's the kind of determination and the aggression that we saw from them back in the PMPLs when they were bullying the teams around them. Whereas this time, they've had a lot of hard hits. They've had a lot of punishment coming their way in the PMGC so far, but they survived. And in this final Super Weekend, I like how they're starting things off.
Yeah, I guess that's the one. I wouldn't even call it a complaint, but that's the one thing we've all noticed from Enigma Galaxy. Just look at the way they've accrued their points, right? The majority, the huge chunk of the points they've got have come in from placements. They're a team who are very comfortable not taking duels. So, they just like to. What was the movie? Was it Godzilla, the first one, where we had the scientist who was like, "Let them fight," right? I think that's Enigma Galaxy's motto. They're like, yeah, let them fight. You're just going to sit back and watch. And it works for them. But as you said, when you're reaching the final Super Weekend, and if you want to qualify for the global finals, because I'm assuming Enigma Galaxy, the way they played recently, they should be pretty much a shoo-in for the East Finals. And if they do want to qualify to the next stage of the Global Championship Finals, then they need to go to the next gear. And I feel this is the right way, right? The right approach. Starting to take this fight, not being too wild either, but a little bit more of controlled aggression. I love it.
And a couple of stats to kind of back up what you said. In the Super Weekend so far, their points distribution have been 130 placement points and 79 kill points. Whereas in the League Week 3 that we've just seen finish up, they finished up with 32 placement points and 39 kill points. So that, that aggression, that improvement is definitely coming through from the MENA side, and it's such a joy to see. Teams are now starting to make their way through on the rotations. Cryptics opting to kind of move away from North George, Tazarki away from FaZe Clan. That opens the door for FaZe Clan to sweep in from the west on the north side of the river, which is common sense the easiest path line into this circle on the north side. They do need to consider that phase 2 might shift down south, and that will make the kind of north of Yasnaya a little bit more congested. But for now, the entry point into phase 1 is pretty spot on for FaZe Clan, as Nova got caught out, now starting to make their way in. But 4 rivals are a little bit in front of them.
A bit of a lull in the action. Our 4 rivals, yeah, a few bullets being unleashed, but won't really find its mark. And while we do have a little bit of lull in the action, Jimmy getting tagged down a little bit there, but he's fine, he's all good. Yeah, just reminding all our viewers as well, that if you are watching this game either on YouTube or the In-Game Esports Center, remember that we have a PMGC exclusive. We have the Treasure Box Imperium.
Hell yeah.
Redeem that. You can get some exclusive stuff right there.
Yeah, just go to the Esports Center in-game, you watch PMGC live, you grab some PMGC tokens, and then you can redeem it for permanent items in the store. So that treasure box is there. Go for it. Why not? You watch it, you get free stuff. Everybody wins. That's as simple as that.
It's Christmas after all,
Exactly.
And it's a season of giving, a season of receiving as well. So yeah, don't forget to claim your happy boxes.
So what are you getting me for Christmas then, bro?
Absolutely nothing. You'll be in a bad boy Imperium.
So not even a lump of coal?
Fine, I'll mail you a lump of coal, which will probably be more expensive, sending all the way from India to Ireland. The postal charges are got to be way more than a lump of coal, but yeah, you know what? Screw it, I'll do it. Tony K, he's close by to Rico Infinity, and SK10's like, I wonder what FaZe Clan are up to, but not really taking any shots yet. It is one of those slowest starts, right? You saw the plane path, and even though the zone is a bit of not really central, it still does encompass a big chunk of the main island. I think the second zone is when we might be seeing a few teams just hit the ground here.
And that's where I really like FaZe Clan's rotation, because even though FaZe 2's popped up and it kind of has gone down southwest, they can still wrap around Stalbar and come in through the north edge. It is going to take some time if they go around Stalbar on the north side, but they can still come through on the south side and stay relatively out of trouble. I really liked how the Xavier set themselves up positionally. It's on that kind of the Lion King mountain just outside of Mansion. It gives such a great oversight around the Yasnaya area. They have that locked under their control. Down One Gaming have a pretty good split. I also love Genesis Dogma. They're on that eastern side outside of Lipovka. Now Reject are going a little bit too deep on their rotation, and I'm worried about them. For now, Nigma still in Pachinki, and Infinity are starting to rotate out of the blue.
Down One Gaming, a team who we're kind of missing at the beginning of the entire league stage and the first super weekend, but they have ramped up, man. They have slowly but surely ramped up. Sure, you see it on the bottom of the table, 102, but hey, one good game is all they need, and boom, they're just going to be catapulting themselves all the way up to where Nova is, and maybe even just tying things up with Tang Jiabao. You're right, they might be one of the few teams to do that. So definitely the South Koreans have impressed. But now, this is crunch time. This is where you separate the boys from men, and this is where you really deliver. You might have had your ups and downs. You've been given, the excuses, where they're like, oh, they had a slow start. They're figuring stuff out. Now you have to deliver it. Now there are no more excuses. If you don't make it, you don't make it. You have to sit it out. You're going home, buddy.
Every single team that's fighting for the top 16, the destiny is in their control. Yeah, they can use a circle shift as an excuse. They can use this, that, and the other. But realistically, at this stage, like you said, there is nothing. Cryptics going on that north side. Very valiant rotation. I think FaZe were a little bit slow in the rotation of FaZe. You understand, maybe they were a bit cautious informational-wise, coming all the way from the west. But I think they could have been a little bit quicker on their execution in this phase 2. Like I said, Reject went deep into the circle. They went straight for Mansion, unoccupied. I kind of get that. A compound like Mansion, you tend not to really want to commit to it too early in the game. it's a little bit of a false kind of, you know, security where it looks so then you have to disengage away from Mansion on a hard shift on phase 3, phase 4. It's all flat terrain around it, and it makes it so challenging. So I get why it was free, but I also respect that Reject are taking it as a 2-person team. They have not committed the full squad to it.
Yeah, for sure. And I'm also keeping an eye on Starwood Esports. They've moved past prison, and they're probably scratching their heads and wondering, wait, where is everybody? Because everyone's moved further up north, more central, but Starwood Esports, they're continuing on the trajectory. The third circle's going to be coming up very quickly as well. Senkai's taking quite a bit of damage. Crip takes El Chapo, the bullets trailing him, but somehow Senkai, alongside his teammate, will be able to escape. Not unscathed though, they have lost a couple of players, and oh my word, a Lipovka's final zone? Okay, I haven't seen that yet thus far.
Yes, this is brand new in terms of circle finishes for PMGC as far as I know, and it opens a door. You have the kind of flatter side on the west where you have Mansion and the Lion King Hill, and then you have the kind of hillier side, which is just to the west of Lipovka and to the north of Prison. This is really interesting in terms of the phase 3 shift, and I'm here for it. A lot of the teams were already inside the circle, and now 4Rivals and Down One Gaming, they're starting to fight.
Have to deliver Appy, getting the first knock, but Sung able to take down Pemburu. Right now, a 3v3 Forest is crawling around. That should be a quick finish here for 4Rivals on the Forest, but no, they're going to bide their time. Not really committing to the finish in Forest. I mean,
you can give information.
Yeah, exactly. I'm a little surprised why Appy hasn't finished him off. He had an easy opportunity, and I think now he's going to be coming around the corner. Yeah, there we have it. Forest finally will be dropped. It took a little bit of a while, but now Down One Gaming, now they need to go for the play. I love this. Sung and Uni pushing together, trying to maybe potentially finish up Pemburu, as Rithal trying to take the battle here, as Uni does get dropped as well, and Down One Gaming not looking good. A sliver of HP.
Nice,
Sung. He wins the duel, but Appy spraying blindly will get the knock, and he's got to finish him all off. That's a clean wipe coming in from 4Rivals. I don't think they even lost a single member there. There we go. A couple of knocks, but not quite able to get a single kill where the South Korean side. And 4Rivals, they need to get the res real quickly and patch themselves up, because coming up in their direction, MS Chonburi, they know what transpired right there.
And now we move on over to Genesis Dogma going up against FaZe on the eastern coastline. Vittorious is knocked. Tony K down to around 40 health. Have to be aware that Rico Infinity are to the north of FaZe. The split is there. A lovely nade being cooked up. Will that connect? Goes a little bit too short.
Cargo's flying though. Yeah, this is not comfortable for
MR5.
And look at Corbe coming in as well. And Daybot's like, well, I'm out of here. They're going to rattle up bullets. Daybot, oh, he's going to come barreling straight down. MR5 getting shot at from the side. And Daybot stays alive. That's the great escape here. And Satar now helping his teammate out with the Mini 14. Oh, Genesis Dogma are playing this so very well. The adaptation, the contingency plan in the form of Satar as well. And FaZe, I like the attempt pushing in, the cavalry coming charging in to help the teammates out, but Genesis Dogma, they are just one step ahead.
They just fell for hook, line, and sinker, being perfectly honest with FaZe. Gets another knock into Daybot. Just two more players left for FaZe. It shouldn't have been a push. You take the loss and you move away. That was a clear bait from Genesis Dogma. If you see one player there, you got to know the rest of the team are going to be around the area to cover him. And that's exactly what Genesis Dogma were. Now as the circle shifts away, they're leaving Nickel inside the compound, and the rest of the team are going to push to clean up FaZe so they can focus on holding on to the northeastern edge of the circle. This is so good for Genesis Dogma. It seems like FaZe bit off more than they could chew left.
I say that, but Corbe's going to take a bite out of Daybot. So FaZe, they managed to patch themselves back up. This is quite impressive actually from FaZe. I thought they were out, they were done and gone and whatever I wanted to say there, but yeah, but they're somehow still battling it out. Two members still standing alive as Infinity having to go up against 628. Looking at the kill feed, though, it looks like Genesis Dogma are once again making quick work. That does look like FaZe are out of it. There we go. For a moment there, I was starting to believe that they're gonna res themselves up. They're gonna take the fight back to Genesis Dogma, but Genesis Dogma, there's a reason why they have been picked to, at least one of our analysts picked them to win the chicken dinner. I do believe those Kalaris, and fittingly so. They look good, just losing, not even losing a single man, and they have 4 kills to their name.
6-8. Holding on to that Prison Hill is always risky. Probably should have predicted that a team was going to be coming in from the south behind you. It has been Infinity, and 6-8 paid the price. The other 2 players that are left for 6-8 are now pushing in. As Nigma Galaxy gets a bit of a run over kill. Happy days on that one. Freak looking for another couple of shots as Action does what he can to support his teammate. Has to turn around though, because here's the thing, the compound Stalwart hold on to is good, but it has multiple angles of fire towards this direction.
Yeah, and it's Nigma Galaxy. Okay, Rico Infinity. I didn't even realize there were bleeding players out. Well, it looks like they're down to just a 1 man. It's a bit of a rough start here for them. Oh, never mind, they've been eliminated. Just a rough start for the MENA team. Cryptix as well, still 2 players alive and kicking. 6-8 down to just a 2-man squad. And for Starboard Esports, you did point out how they need to be wary of other players, you know, third partying in. But looking at the map, I guess it's only Nigma Galaxy. And if look, I know that Nigma Galaxy have been a little bit more aggressive of late, but I feel like old habits just might kick in. I think they're just gonna keep quiet, play the edge of the zone, and be like, yeah, you guys fight it out. We'll just buy it a time.
Well, and that's okay, because there's aggression and there's calculated aggression. The best teams always have calculated aggression. Don't know when to turn that on, right? What is it in the words of Spider-Man? With great power comes great responsibility. So it is important to use that at the right moments. What I love about Reject, though, is that they moved away from Mansion. They recognized that if the circle shifts away, it's incredibly difficult. They did hand it over to Deadeye's guys, though, in the process, but I really prefer where Reject have put themselves. They are at risk of the hill to the east of them, but they're also to an extent protected from it for the time being, and they can focus more heavily on the west. They have a lovely spread in that compound. MS Chambori, though, we saw them take out Rico Infinity. Their next target is most likely going to be 4 rivals on that north side, but the Xavier could third party. However, they've got to think about BTR.
Look at how flat the terrain is. Oh, that zone.
Oh boy.
The Xavier and BTR. Whoever comes out on top of this, they're gonna be a pretty comfortable place. But yeah, the O boys coming out from you. This is open, plain, naked terrain, Imperium. Sure, maybe a couple of trees, maybe some kind of sloping, I wouldn't even call it hills, but mountains. But apart from that, this is gonna be just a battle royale of snakes eventually.
It really is, and who has the most amount of vehicles available? Who keeps those vehicles running available to use? That's going to be a big part of the final circle. Biding your time, Nova are in, to an extent, the center of it right now. They have Infinity to the south, followed by 6-8, BTR to the west. Nigma Galaxy now rotating in on the eastern side, getting ahead of the likes of Reject, followed by 4 rivals on that northern side. They have no idea where they're really going, it feels, but they're pushing into the center. In my eyes, that's not the call. That's not the way to do it on phase 5.
Oh my lord, bullets, they're flying thick and fast. You said it, it's a scary
no way!
But Appy, you absolute animal! He just completely obliterates Nova. That was a 1v3, and it just completely wrecks them. How does he do it? How does he do it?
That shouldn't have worked. By all logic, that should not have worked. But 4 rivals pull it off. They're insane. They're madmen. All I can do is just appreciate the fact that they committed to. They ended up going out in the end, but they took Nova with them.
I'm just absolute champions. Yeah, they get eliminated, but hey, that's 3 or 4 elimination points for them, right? While going out in style. That caught me off guard. I'm sorry, that really caught me off guard. I wasn't seeing that. I'm like, yeah, 4 rivals are out of here, but they're like, we're gonna take you with us. And Nova, they go down kicking and screaming. In the meantime, the Xavier, these nades are harassing 2 teams simultaneously. BTR, of course, being the team right next to them. And what are the Xavier gonna do? They're gonna be pushing in. They're gonna be riding straight into them.
absolute insanity, and they're gonna get knocked down because of that Lamborghini. Having spotted Zuxi, deals a bit of damage. Doesn't exactly know where he is, and he gets shot from afar. Infinity, the saviors of BTR, as Stalwart Esports now having to go up close and against Genesis Dogma. Scry, he knows there's someone nearby in the smoke. He knows someone's lying prone. Eventually he'll fall, and Stalwart Esports now having to battle against Reject, because look at Sarah just charging into the direction.
This is so good from Reject. They've left until kind of like the final second to push out that compound. Genesis Dogma got ahead of them. They took out Genesis Dogma. They're now coming in from behind. They're going to be able to take the shots on the Stalwart. However, Enigma Galaxy from that southeast side are taking advantage of them. Ray Joso gets knocked. Sarah gets knocked. Stalwart keep themselves alive. Pika and Scry, together they stand united. They stay up.
I don't know how Stalwart is still alive and kicking. It looked like Reject were just completely going to ruin the day, but the tables have been flipped. And Reject, Duello, and Divine need to get the reses. Duello trying to provide a bit of suppressing fire in the direction of Stalwart now. They need to move in. They need to move in real quick. Infinity, though, 10 eliminations. Imperium, 10, and all 4 still alive. Still looking for more news. Maybe getting a little too overeager. Sarah, in the meantime, is still somehow crawling around. Eventually, he'll fall to Pika, and Reject are now down to, I do believe, just to 2 members, unless I'm very much mistaken here, and the Galaxy going for a play. This is dangerous, but Logan out in the open in his car. Somehow, a little bit of Ridge providing some cover for the time being.
Modis, he's on his own. Enigma have had a hell of a game. They are down to 2.5 because Freak is knocked down on his knees. So Hamodi throwing a nade forward is good, but it's also a bit of a risk because one nade towards him, he's going to get knocked. Reject end up going down at the hands of Stalwart. I appreciate what Reject were trying to do, just didn't work out in this case as Pika keeps himself alive. 5 teams left up. Deadeye's guys are still going strong, but they have to deal with MS Chambori.
Hamodi quickly finished off though. Enigma Galaxy, they know they have to go for the play.
That was a risk.
Charging in straight into the Lion's Den. And Infinity, they're not stopping anytime soon. They're going for this. The nade, it looks good. Freak, oh, he dodges it somehow. Roth, in the meantime, will be finished off. Enigma Galaxy down just to 1 man. His head spotted, and he will be finished. Infinity 12 is still going, and the only team who could potentially take them down is seemingly MS Chonburi. Right now, on the edge of the circle, they got the vehicles, they got his compound, but Infinity, they look nigh untouchable. And for Stalwart Esports, Scry, the last man standing, he will be finished. And now it is a final 2 teams, 8 players in the server, a 4 versus 4.
Look at Godtunny. He's holding on to that cover. He's keeping an eye on MS Chambori. This is perfect spread from Infinity. They knew that they couldn't really, secure the backs by having 4 players where they were, so they needed to have 1 player covering. MS Chambori had been able to go on the other side, but at the end of the day, like I said, Godtunny comes in to get 2 knocks to MS Chambori, and the advantage is once again over to Infinity.
It's incredible. Did they have 14 eliminations?
I know.
They could actually get 18. I think that's a record, right? Like I think one team got a 17, but 18.
It's looking likely. It's looking very likely. Now the res might just take place here, but no, first Jasper has to patch himself up, and while that's going on, the bullets are just whizzing past a couple of them, ramming into the body slot. TB13 has a lot of work to do. A wild spray coming out from his M4, not quite able to connect, but all the reses, Ponzai, if he gets res as well, it could still be a 4v4. MS Chonburi, they're not quite out yet.
I was thinking, Infinity, please don't rely on the circle staying in your direction. You got to keep the pressure on. The little bit of a dip, it is to your advantage as well within the circle, but you just can't rely on it. They didn't. They pushed forward, and now MS Chambori, they're under a hell of a lot of pressure.
Yeah, out in the open, barely any cover apart from a couple of trees. Another 2 knocks going the way of Infinity. Make that 3. Bonsai, last man standing, looking to stand and deliver. But I gotta say, it's looking unlikely. On 20 HP, 10 HP, and he will be finished eventually. MS Chonburi will fall after a valiant 1 last stand. But the Infinity, 18 eliminations, Imperium, and the chicken dinner. What a statement. They don't even need these points.
Are we looking at the PMGC East champions right now? I can't help but feel that, man. I really can't. It's incredible the way they play.
It's even more incredible that Jason picked them and they somehow broke the curse. They broke the curse. They won a chicken dinner with Jason picking them. It just...
It's massive. Like, it's really hard to put into words how good this team plays. There's so much fluidity. They were one of the last teams into the circle on that south side in phase 3. But that's the thing. They understand that the play style that they play works with the circle shift. And they will adapt as the game goes and as every game goes. It seems like there's nothing they can't deal with. Yeah, okay, they're humans, so they're all, of course, going to make mistakes, but it just seems that, like, you give them like an inch and they're going to take a mile and a half, 2 miles, 3 miles, whatever it requires to get that chicken dinner, to get the result. But it was an action-packed game all the same. We haven't seen the circle end in this area of the map so far in the PMGC East. It was nice to see Mansion in play, the compounds around Mansion come into play, the hills and the prison area around, and we saw some early action with the likes of FaZe, Cryptix, and Genesis Dogman.
Yeah, and just going back to the, not the final zone, but like the final few zones, right? Like, we saw Deadeye's guys and MS Seanbury just lying still. The zone was favoring them.
Yes.
They were much more closer, and it was the Infinity having to duke it out against some very heavy hitters. There were multiple teams. There was Stalwart around, there was Reject, and all these guys. And somehow Imperium, they managed to take them all down while keeping all 4 intact. That just boggles my mind.
It just really proves how much control they have in this game and how well synergized they are as a team, how well in terms of communication they are. It's hard to put into words.
It is very hard to put into words, but some people are very good at putting things into words. Of course, we have the desk coming up. Jason, they broke your curse.
I have decided that come into the Super Weekend, I will give them finally my blessing. I've always been hesitant because they already had so many points and were already dominating everyone in the lobby. I was like, you know what, Infinity, just unleash yourselves. Just take them on. And they did. They tied the elimination record as well, putting up a ton of points, 33 for themselves. Well, who was the other team that did it? Was it Genesis Dogma or MS Chonburi that had 18 eliminations?
Genesis Dogma on Erangel, yeah.
Not bad. 33 points, my boys from Infinity.
Well, Jason, even a broken clock is right twice a day. As you've predicted them almost every single game. So, but, you know, they did really well. I mean,
I'll wait to see my next game prediction.
Oh, no. Well, maybe that will be the twice a day. Anyway, we've got ourselves, this big win here from Infinity. They played this almost to perfection. Not only with the movements, but when they chose to make those moves is very important. It can be all too easy in these kinds of circles when there's not much cover. We've got to be center. I think Nova got a little bit unfortunate, even the circle shifting on towards them, towards the center. But then when they go down, 4 Rivals goes into that dip. But even that's too early. They get taken down. Infinity knows when to send a 2-2 in, control the West, making sure that nobody else is going to bomb into that spot and work their way up from the south. I think it was flawless execution from Infinity.
Very, very, very good. I mean, you could see the split as well, Kalaris. We're talking about how crazily open that phase 5 was.
Yeah.
And you could see them leaving Logan. And he's like that man who said, I will not leave prison until I get enough of what it can provide. And he also even got info of the Eastern entering teams. That's how they play that so patiently. They know the pros and cons of their respective positions and just slowly move their way in.
My boy Newsy. Yeah, 1,013 damage. I mean, what you guys didn't hear on broadcast, which the guys can totally confirm when we were watching the match, that I said Newsy's going to pop off, probably get himself 7 eliminations and 1,013 damage. I didn't get the team contribution percent correctly, though, so that was a little bit unfortunate. But either way, I mean, Newsy, again, how many times have we seen him be MVP? How many times have we seen Infinity in general just be in the MVP slots? Like, if we talk about Stalwart, obviously, I think that's the only other team that we've seen as often.
Yeah, you're almost on point. I think you said 33.3 recurring on the percent.
Yeah,
so
I had to Leroy it.
Yeah, you were slightly off, but yeah, Newsy, what an absolute star. We talked about him at the top of the show, and once again, always proving that he is a star here yet again. And even towards the very end, I mean, you're looking at that fight against MS Chonburi, and they're already winning out the fight. But what are they doing? They're not even thinking about the current position that they're in. They're thinking 2 steps ahead. Okay, if MS Chonburi recovers from the knocks that we've gained, how are we going to suffocate them even more? And Newsy is that suffocation point on that eastern side, finding that alternate angle and making it almost impossible for Emma Strawberry to make the recovery. So I really like, even when they're at the advantage, still thinking for how can we get more advantage.
Yes, and this team was the one that we popped the question and wondered what they were doing with the tested, like with the roster that they had, right? So, of course, we thought, can they transition back in with no problems? And we've got our answer. They've got their test. They will continue with the domination. They don't look scared at all. They look phenomenal.
Yeah, and the thing is, they've not stopped performing like this.
Yeah.
This entire... Okay, except... All right, sorry. Let me correct myself here, because I know someone in chat will be like, well, Jason, if you look back to week 1 league play, they actually placed 15th. Yeah, but since then, they have been doing phenomenal the entire time. It was 2 days of maybe some quote-unquote bad matches, and they haven't missed out on a super weekend. And you guys hopefully haven't missed out as well on any of these treasure boxes within the Esports Center, or if you're watching on YouTube, you get these points you can use to unlock permanent items. You get one of these 3, and you can earn them between the 30th and the 20th, I believe, of December. And then also coming up in the 22nd to January 10th, we have the next treasure box coming up with even more permanent items and special rewards. You want an Amazon Pay gift card? You know what? You got it. You want a Google Play gift card? You got it. But it's going to be probably, well, the stuff that I don't want. Let's just say that, because I can use some of those bad boys.
Well,
no, Tarzan, you don't get any of that.
Well, I'll for sure log in when I can. And but yes, up next, guys, we've got Miramar. And when we talk about this map, we like to talk about Reject. And to be fair, they've been lacking a little bit of spotlight. Probably their own fault, but coming back onto this map, we know they've made a statement when they were playing a few bad games, I would say. So this is the resurrection point. I'm not sure whether that's the term, but you get what my point is.
Yeah, they've had like one win on Miramar since I think that first week, if I'm not mistaken. Claris trying to look down and read the text there. We do want to know your viewer thoughts. We got which team can surprise everyone in Super Weekend. Well, if you're like me, you're probably going to say the Infinity.
I'm thinking. I really want it to be down 1, even though they didn't have a good game in the starting of it. I really want it to be them. Obviously, they're in 19th place currently, trying to get out of those elimination spots. And they've been so good at the very end of our league plays. I want it to be down 1. I want it to be down 1.
Okay, I thought Tarzan was going to give his opinion there.
No, I just need to think even harder.
Okay, you know what? Think about it, because we're going to head to a break. You have at least 4 minutes of time to think about Tarzan, but when we come back, we will be heading to Miramar, so make sure your answer is ready, and make sure you guys are all back here for the next match.
Yes, kills, but this will make it big for Semnot if they can get the chicken dinner. Now we're seeing a lot more information here. Yes, speeding up. What? What? Hang on, back in! Hang on, back in! Semnot with chicken dinner! What?
Really is a... Oh! Do this to them!
I'm so sorry.
You've killed them! Look at them!
FaZe still in contention though. FaZe up a real possibility.
Really?
I think it really is a real... Oh, no!
Oh no!
It's FaZe down!
No, I'm so sorry.
On your face!
I'm so sorry.
Why would you do this to them?
I'm so sorry.
You've killed them! Look at them! They're dead! Huh? Oh!
What?
Excuse me.
He's waiting out.
Just
They
needs to
are-
move forward.
They are out the open. He's waiting for the tree to provide some cover. You can see he wants to move out to the right-hand side here.
There
He's
we
going
go.
for the shots. Lines up. The one for top. Looks for the knock and action.
I saw the first light, the first steps. Now I see much more. I capture Earth in all its beauty. I see action. I see drama. And I see it in the finest detail. Moments of inspiration. And the first steps. I am the 1+9.
All right, welcome back, everyone, to PMGC 21 East League. As Tarzan now, finally, it is your chance to answer. Hopefully you took this time in the break to think about it.
Who do you got?
I've got Dead Eyes guys because they have not shown any signs of domination or like proactive fighting or anything, but that makes it a surprise if they do well.
Okay, well, you know what? That is technically true. I can't argue against you at all in this one. But Miramar is going to be coming up next, and I would love to see Reject step up. I would love to see, we've had Infinity, not to keep harshing on my team. Sanhok, almost every single time they played Sanhok, they had a phenomenal result, right? I want to see other teams have that kind of same result. I think the problem is Sanhok's such an oddball of a map, right? Or it's such an outlier of a map to be played, Claris, that it's a lot harder to be consistent on Miramar and Erangel when those are played so much more heavily.
Yeah, Sanhok's you play in such a different way to Miramar and Erangel. I mean, obviously, when you're looking at max render distance and trying to deal with that on Miramar and Erangel, oftentimes there's big areas, of area
That's a lot of
cover. That's a lot of damage. But Sanhok, far more about those close fights. Even those long range fights in inverted commas end up being kind of like half the distance of Miramar and Erangel. So you got to be very, very accurate, very, very consistently.
And that's obviously very hard to do, but we can see even some throwables being used in Newsy. Obviously, we talk a ton about as being an MVP, but I feel like we really have to focus maybe a little bit better on that when it comes to utility and its usage. We've seen a lot of great smoke plays. Thinking back to week 1, using it to aggress onto a position. We've seen it used to eliminate vision out of some teams, so teams can like rotate through or have a better angle. I'm actually curious. Maybe that's part of what makes Infinity so good, but also their scouting, as we were talking about last match. We're watching, like they're very aware of what they should be doing at almost all times, and they're always like trying to read ahead into the future. 2 steps ahead, I think you mentioned, Claris.
Yeah, definitely so. They understand that you've always got to press your advantage. And how do you do that best? Keep looking for more advantage. Easy.
All right, prediction time. Tarzan, really quickly, because they have about 20 seconds till we need to get to the casters. So who do you have?
Reject.
Too quick. Elaborate a little bit now. Okay, you lost your time to elaborate. No, it's too late. You had that window there. There was an awkward pause. Claris, go ahead.
Cryptics, the last 2 Miramars were 3rd and 1st. Let's see if they can roll with it.
Okay, well, my prediction, you guys all know who it's going to be at home. It is the Genesis Dogma, not the Infinity. I'm changing things up. I'm going to get a chicken dinner every single day today, and every team I pick is going to win. And at the end of the day, I'm going to probably go buy a lottery ticket if that's possible, because then I'm going to win a lot of money. And maybe you won't see me tomorrow. Who knows? Maybe we'll be on a private jet flight to a nice vacation. But there's our predictions. I believe it is time to head to our commentators. Just wait on the guaranteed confirmation, because I don't want to rush into this one. It seems we have a little bit more time. All right, finally, Tarzan, go ahead. Elaborate on your pick for Reject.
Okay, so we want to see teams to do well on specific maps. Sometimes almost like you want to see map-specific weakness so you can punish certain teams. So they are that team that for sure, shown on there. So I want, some sort of consistency in there. It's not an easy map to play well on. We talk about the terrains, how punishable it is when you don't have the macros to really support it. So yeah.
All right, that's the end of your time. Perfect. Time, the alarm went off, the clock, whatever you want to say. Let's head over to our commentators. Thank you, Claris, with Bled and Imperium.
Jason's he's a bit of a bully, man. He's bullying Tarzan, and now he's like, I'm gonna pick a Genesis Dogma. Screw Infinity. Like, what's that? I don't get it.
Look, my dad always said you can say whatever you want once you have a smile on your face while you're saying it, and that seems to be what Jason does. But it's all right. We still love him, and he's a pretty awesome person.
Well, yeah, unless he wins a lottery ticket and he just leaves all of us tomorrow, in which case, I guess, I don't know, one of us will have to host Imperium. But here we go. Second game of the day. I do like Claris picking Cryptics because they've impressed us quite a bit in the Miramars, because we saw quite a bit of Miramars in the league stage of week 3.
Yeah, league stage week 3, they stepped up to play big time, getting 2 chicken dinners, my apologies. And their performance in Miramar was 13 points per game across the 4 Miramar games they played. It wasn't as high as Erangel, but it was still pretty impressive. So yeah, Cryptics is a good shout for Claris. However, we did see them get kind of bullied a little bit at the start of the Erangel game by FaZe. I appreciated how Cryptics rotated, but there's no real fight around that rotation, and we're seeing it maybe again as they drop close to Nigma in El Pozo. And, oh my lord!
Okay.
Imagine getting knocked by Winchester. Hello.
Well, Marshall doesn't have to imagine. Oh no.
Like, it's arguably as disrespectful as like getting knocked by a pan throw or something like that. You know, just Winchester. Like, I love the gun, but it really is like so weak in terms of damage.
Oh no, El Chapo, he's just hiding. Like, let the guy be. They're just getting absolutely wrecked. Nigma Galaxy, they're taking the prisoners. I love this from the MENA side. I love watching this Nigma Galaxy play this way. And here's the thing, we know they can play this way. It's just that, you know, they sometimes temper themselves a little bit too much. And unfortunately for Cryptics, Kelaris picked them. We were even singing their praises, saying, yeah, Miramar, Cryptics, good. And then that happened, so yeah.
Did we suddenly turn into cavemen when we started saying that? Yeah, Cryptics good, Miramar good, Cryptics bad everywhere else. You know, that kind of thing. But yeah, it's not a good start for them. The phase one is on that western side. We haven't really had too much of a chance to talk about it, so it kind of complements the play path to a big extent. There's a healthy spread of teams. The eastern side is going to be obviously a little bit more clustered with Nova split around Minas Generalis and La Bandita. You have Genesis Dogma in Impala. MS Chambori, they have Los Leones all to themselves because BC Swell aren't here in the Super Weekend, so that'll be nice for them. FaZe Clan, of course, dropping Picado. But to me, they shouldn't be staying in Picado for too long. They can't allow the teams to the east to get too close to them. To me, they need to disengage in some way, shape, or form, get a bit of a controlling position, possibly to the south church area outside Chumasera wouldn't be a bad idea, but Infinity do tend to kind of land loot and hang around that region, so FaZe might opt to go somewhere else.
Let's see if that's the way it's going to be panning out here now. Looking at the teams who do need to really deliver here. Now, I know it's 3 days of action, Imperium, right? We still have a lot of games remaining. There's no immediate pressure yet, but Damwon, the Xavier, the two teams you mentioned, FaZe, you know, Bigatron, Deadeye's guys, Nova, they need to kind of get off on the right footing.
Oh, yes.
And at least based on the first game, it wasn't looking so great for the majority of them. I might even say for all of them.
No, and that to an extent cancels each other out, and it's even, I suppose, healthy if you're Tong Jiabao watching on the sidelines, hoping and praying for an absolute miracle in that regard. So yeah, it's not the best, but there's still 14 more games to go. So I'm gonna wait a little bit longer to form a bigger opinion on who really is struggling across the board. It's hard to tell based on just one match. As Reject catch out Deadeye's guys. A lovely double knock by Duello. You take that one right to the bank, and now on top star has to try and dance away. And here's the thing. I don't hold this against Deadeyes because as far as I know, Reject don't really loot on this northern side of the map. They normally go to the south of Los Leones. And I believe with the plane path, they felt it was safer to go for shorter drop on the north side rather than go for that kind of longer south where you have the likes of Infinity, MS Chambori, where when you're relying on vehicles in Miramar, you can see yourself get caught out, Cryptics being the prime example at the hands of Enigma. So I don't hold it against Deadeye's guys, but also Deadeye's guys should be looking at the parachutes, the amount of parachutes that are dropping around them, and being able to kind of give that kind of information over to their teammates.
How much, like, look, you are well more versed with the, you know, with more regions when it comes to professional PUBG Mobile Imperium, and I have no doubts about that. You know what? I'll get back to that. Ruff's trying to... Oh, no.
Now she's just like, get off my lawn, dude. Just get out of here. Like, you know, it's fine. It's fine. I'll let you live, but just go away, dude. Just go away. All good. It's all good, man. As this game goes on, we see 628 have that player perch on top of the Crater Fields mountainside just outside El Pozo. And it's just such a good position for him to be because the rest of the team are continuing to loot up the power grid region. So it creates so much more of a bubble for the rest of the team to play around and to move in and to react to phase 2. So even though knock wasn't confirmed, it was still great play from Daoshi.
Yeah, just to get back, I'm sorry about that. I just got disconnected for a couple of seconds. But just to finish the thought I had, like, one thing I've noticed, especially with a lot of the South Asian teams, and the reason I'm saying this is because, you know, we saw Deadeye's guys getting caught off guard there by Reject, would be how, you know, when they play in the region, a lot of them, they have their usual drop locations, and it's almost like it's set in stone, right? You rarely, ever, even when it's a do or die game, do you see certain teams ever deviate from that? Apart from maybe Zeus, you know, sometimes, maybe Stalwart sometimes, because they're a little bit more wild, I might say. Do you think that could be something which could bite teams coming from certain regions when they're not, you know, used to adapting on the fly, or just maybe getting a little too, you know, overconfident? Stuck in their ways, and overconfident about the fact that, hey, you know, there should be anyone here. That's not where they draw. And then suddenly they get caught with the pants down.
Yeah, you are pretty bang on with that point. Another South Asian example of that is DRS. Have you ever seen them drop anywhere else other than Yasnaya, or should I say loot up anywhere else than Yasnaya? They don't adapt in terms of their drop spot. Now, I will always appreciate a team kind of sticking to their guns, but if it comes in the form of getting punished at the start by losing one or two players in what is clearly common sense, a very, very risky drop from the playing path, just have that alternative, have that plan B, have that plan C. When you start the game with that idea in your head, it allows you to adapt a little bit quicker on the fly. So yeah, you hit the nail on the head big time, just like this phase 2 has hit all of these players in the face as it shifts down the southwest towards Los Leones. Great for MS Chambori, of course, and even to an extent Genesis Dogma. I did make note that FaZe would want to move out of Picado, and this is the reason why. Nova, Genesis Dogma, 628, 4 Rivals as an example, all very close to that Picado area. It's just a shame for FaZe that it kind of shifted in the opposite direction of where they went on that phase 1 rotation, but I appreciate that they recognized the threat of hanging around Picado for too long.
Yeah, Picado, a town where many a team have met a very grisly end. Man, I've met a lot of grisly ends dropping towards Picado.
Oh, dude, it's so fun. It's so fun.
It is
to drop
fun,
in Picado.
but it's annoying when, like, you know, you're playing with a squad and your squad survives and you're the one who died and you're like, well, what do I do now? Well, what does Annis do?
I've never had that happen to me.
Yeah, well,
I
guess you're just better. I guess you're just better than I am. Or maybe you just don't fight, Imperium. Maybe you're just hiding in a corner, just cowering. Maybe that's why you stay alive.
Don't reveal
Sorry. Yeah, just ignore what I said.
Thousands of people watching.
Yeah, ignore what I said. Imperium doesn't hide. He goes all in. He is Rambo incarnate. Rico Infinity, unfortunately, are not Rambos incarnate. They will not necessarily. They don't want to really take the particular duel. Obviously, Enigma Galaxy are much more. Hold on. They're just grouped up right now, and they're hearing all this commotion. They're hearing the vehicles afar. Speaking of vehicles, Logan is going to make a quick exit. And with Sean Burry, maybe looking for some vengeance from the previous game, because that was a 4v4 which could have honestly gone either way.
Really could have overall, but in the end,
Infinity were just better. I'll just say,
yeah,
they're just
Infinity
better.
are just better. And one thing, it's actually really funny about the Infinity, because back in the first Super Weekend, Erangel was their weakest map by far. As a point of reference, 7 points per game in Erangel compared to around 14 and 13 for the two other maps. And I said to you during that third Super Weekend, I said, if they can clean up Erangel and get stronger points in Erangel, they will be an extremely dangerous team. And look at them now. They consistently perform on Erangel, they consistently perform on every single map, and they're currently at the top of the standings in this Super Weekend. It's just amazing to see for them to see their own awareness in that and go, wait, Erangel, we're not looking the best on that. Let's improve. And then we have the other map sorted.
PG-13 got a nade out. And he spots the player driving past. Not able to quite confirm this elimination on Daybot. And is that a nade? Okay, all right. Good trajectory. I thought for a moment that he just naded his own teammate, but no. Smokes will be deployed. A couple of nades as well. And they're making MS Chonburi think. Now, Ponzai's above, but look at the other member of Genesis Dogma sneaking in from behind. MS Chonburi is slowly but surely getting wrapped around from behind, and they seem very unaware. And the Ponzai, the Overwatch guy, has been taken down. Okay.
And this is also a really tricky fight because it's right close to the edge of the circles. Whoever finishes it quicker will come out on top. A lovely play by TG13. I believe that leaves now Nickel on his own as a surviving member of Genesis Dogma. And if I were him, if he can, to try and cut his losses and move away. I can't see him doing anything about this being so far away. Even MS Chonburi trying to go for the revive on the Ponzai, as Nickel does indeed try and take his chances and move away from that one.
He's taking a bit of damage, but somehow has managed. Oh, are they gonna? Okay, I thought NC2 just gonna go for the hunt, just leaving his teammate, but still almost found him. Great turnaround for MS Chonburi. I really felt Genesis Dogma, they went for the right play, but just one or two duels not going their way, and they even found Ponzai, right? He was a guy on Overwatch from above.
Knocking Ponzai was great, but it was unfortunately Boom's getting knocked, and it's rare I say this about Booms because he very, very rarely makes a mistake, but that was the one mistake. When Booms got knocked, it opened the door for MS Chonburi to win the fight.
Punched him to death. NC2. Absolutely brutal. No respect whatsoever. I love it. I love everything about it. As Reject. On a bit of a warpath since the previous game, and they maybe not really looking to chase down the Xavier because Reiji, they've got, it's almost like they're shepherding it in the direction of Reiji, but now Reiji's alone. He's all alone, and the Xavier, they're like, well, let's take care of him, hold on to this compound, and then get rid of the other members of Reject. But for how long can Reiji so stay alive? That's the question. He's running around, he's going to take the duel, and he will quickly be put down. And with that, the decision has been made for Reject. They're like, yeah, if he stayed alive, could have come in and try and help him out. But with him going down, Reject decide that's really not worth it. It's just down to a two-man squad. And yeah, a great turnaround coming in there for their opponents.
Phase 3 Blue Zone is starting to close in. You have now One Gaming in a good position. Nigma have been rotating through this game extremely well. BTR not knowing that Deadeye's guys is there. Liquid will get found and will get knocked, but the rest of Deadeye's need to respond. On top, down to around 30 health. As hanging onto the wall, Zuxi is pushing in.
Shifu, you need to help him out there, buddy. Zuxi will find on top, and Shifu, half HP. What can he possibly do? They're out in the blue. And Shifu's actually inside, so he could potentially just keep them and ruin their day, but no. It looks like BTR are somehow gonna be able to come out on top there. In the meantime, MS Chonburi now going against the Xavier, who seemed to be just a non-stop movement on the vehicles. And Frankie, a prolonged spray coming in from Ponzai, but he will be finished off by NC2. Stalwart now against their the counterparts in the name of 628. The two STEs going up against each other, but 628 have a massive advantage. It's a 1 versus 4 for Scry, and as incredible as this player is, it is looking very, very unlikely. 628 don't even have a single player getting knocked down, and they make very quick work of Stalwart Esports.
Why is it that I think this Miramar game is kind of weird? We're seeing a lot of scrappy plays. 6 teams have one player left. That is kind of unusual for Miramar. I know that sometimes, again, based on the playing paths, that some teams can kind of get caught out and lose 1 or 2 players to begin with, but having 6 teams in Miramar with 1 player left is just so rare.
I've never seen that. I've never seen that. And 6 teams with all 4 players left live.
Yes.
So if you look at the number of players, number of teams alive, it's 15. You're like, oh, 15 alive. Then you're like, wait a minute, why is there only 40 players left alive
Exactly.
in the map?
Exactly.
It is, yeah, I think it's a bit unprecedented. Shifu? Oh, buddy, you don't want to go up against 628. Yeah, he's good. He's good. They're going the wrong direction. And Shifu is going to stay alive for a while more. Meanwhile, Infinity, the 4-man squad, looking to finish off Genesis. Dogma, Nickel, all the nade is going to force him out of the vehicle. It's looking rough here. And Newsy, is he calling for backup though? No one. He has a couple of teammates nearby, but no one seems to be moving his direction. The second nade will find its mark. Nice. So down to just 45 points of health. I'm just guessing here, but it's looking close to 45. A third nade down to just 15, but he patches himself up and is back to full HP once more.
BTR go down, Reject go down, so 2 teams that had solo players have been followed by a third in the form of Genesis Dogman. Now the Infinity need to focus on being inside the circle now. However, and this is what I love about the Infinity and how they pull off these kind of rotations and these kind of controlling positions. Gotuni, already inside the circle. He's the anchor point. He's like, yeah, guys, you worry about what's going on behind. I'll stay inside the circle. I'll hold down the fort. FaZe, they have a beautiful spread. I would argue it's a little bit too heavily split. I don't really like how far away Tony K is from the rest of the team. I like how Venturis and MR5 are close by with Corby covering the north. But Tony K is the one, to me, that's massively at risk.
MR5 with a big zoom banger.
Chungus of a weapon.
It is a massive chungus of a weapon. It's a green, big ass chungus. It's dealing pain. And MS Chonburi. The really cool thing about MS Chonburi right now, even though they've lost a member, even though Ponzai has been knocked down, 7 eliminations leading the pack. And if they can get the res on the Ponzai, you know, 3-man squad, still very, very solid.
And considering they scraped into the Super Weekend, I mean like scraped into the Super Weekend, it is a good kind of vote of confidence in how they recognize that, hey, look, you know, we may struggle in Super Weekend, but in the league play, but the Super Weekend is where we come out on top. Now, they have lost 3 of their players, so it's just NC2 that's left standing. The circle is centered. FaZe now have a 2-2 split, which is much better to play with Venturis and Tony K a little bit deeper into the circle. They have to think about teams around them, though. We're at the stage of the game where focusing on kind of one small section to control is much better than trying to control a bigger section and losing 1 or 2 players. 4 rivals should be their next focus on taking out on the edge of the circle. Maybe Nova, but either way, FaZe, they gather themselves up together. And now it's their time to fight.
I love how everyone are kind of grouped up, and Infinity are like, YOLO, YOLO, I'll go YOLO there. Like, everyone just spreads it, and they don't seem to care. I love it.
There you go.
Grabbers will also fall, and with that, one by one, the teams who just had 1 member alive, they're getting eliminated. The Xavier, Cryptics, Dead Eyes Guys, Genesis Dogma, BTR, everyone's out. MS Chonburi still alive.
Nope.
NC2 out in the distance, and yeah, never mind. I'm sorry.
It's okay. It's okay. You cursed them. I hope they won't be too mad at you. It is what it is. They still had a damn good game. 7 eliminations, cannot argue with that one. FaZe has 1 player knocked down. Infinity are encroaching on their space in the underside of the hill down on the southwest side. 4 rivals are in the circle, but they're under a lot of pressure. Nova have found a bit of an entry point in, but on the western edge of the circle, Enigma and Rico.
Enigma and Rico on the eastern side. Infinity going up against Nova. Nova, this is... they need to have a couple of big games here. They are not out of danger. There's a very real possibility they might not be making it to the league final. So they need to be very, very careful. But they're getting third party out in distance. This slope is not comfortable for them. And Infinity, are they going to push on ahead? The res should be taking place. And going back to the fight you did allude to just before we switched over to the Nova fight. Enigma Galaxy just harassing their MENA counterparts in the form of Rico Infinity. Prestigo, he's kind of low, he's going to patch himself up, but a well-placed nade could kind of ruin his day. And unfortunately for Rico Infinity, look at SK Ton, Fidan, and Prestigo all separated, all in 3 different buildings. it's not a comfortable spot to be in.
Yeah, it's understandable because nades are such a big part of trying to encroach on a building, but it's the fact that nobody can really support each other because they're all in separate buildings and no one building has really any kind of higher elevation point. So it's going to take a miracle for Rico to come out on top of this one as the Infinity gets a clean knock onto Jimmy, but Godtony is knocked in return. Turns around, King gets a second.
Nova, they were asked to deliver, and they are delivering. Kings and Powerboy, the nades are good. Mela just crawling out of the open, blood coming out of every orifice, not looking good. Just the rest is taking place though for Infinity in the meantime, as FaZe is taking pot shots to you. Yang needs to be careful, Tony K getting shot from all the way below, and I do believe that was Damwon Gaming unless I'm very much mistaken, so they need to be wary. They need to be careful that they're not the only team out here.
Why aren't FaZe third-partying this though, right? You hear the shots directly behind you. It's a perfect time to strike.
Well, Nova striking with furious anger and great wrath as Tunny, you need to live up to his name, but a shot being shot by Jimmy! And Kings, they take out Infinity, and the beast has been stopped, at least here on Miramar, the second map.
Oh, Forest?
Now, oh, wait, what? Wait, what?
Yeah, he got a nade knock onto Jimmy.
Oh, there we go, from downhill. You can see FaZe. Now they're coming in. Now they're taking a fight to Nova, and Nova getting sandwiched between Damwon Gaming as well as FaZe. In the meantime, 628 going up against 4 rivals. 628, they still have 3 members alive and kicking, and Nova, they're not going down without a fight, getting a couple of knocks. Incendiaries, Molotovs being tossed in as well. Paraboy and King, they're taking a fight to FaZe. Ventoris and MR5, they spot Paraboy, and Paraboy just comes charging in. MR5 gets knocked down, and FaZe are getting eviscerated. What a play! What a play from Nova!
They had 3 minutes of being able to third party the fight between Nova and Infinity. They didn't. Nova took out Infinity, and then Nova show why they are here to play, why they don't take for granted the fact they didn't make it into the second Super Weekend. Very strong performances from King and Powerboy as a duo, but now their next target is 4 rivals.
4v2, v3, v1, v1. Could find him. Enigma Galaxy, the 4 alive. This is a great opportunity. As long as 4 rivals get screwed here by Nova. And Nova maybe getting a little too over-eager here. They need to just jump on across, and because of that, eventually they will fall. But what an outing it was from the Chinese side. Incredible ability, holding their own, even though they were down to a 2-man squad. Playzone will take down Uni, guaranteeing themselves a 4th place finish. They're going to be reasonably happy with that role, Damwon Gaming. And now Enigma Galaxy. This looks like a chicken dinner for them to lose. 4 alive, and it's what, a 4v2v1.
Possibly make that 4v2. That's going to be the case as down goes 628 in 3rd place, but the 4 rivals duo are going to have to work wonders in this one.
Rithal and Pemberut, they can deliver. We've seen that. If they can somehow... Oh, never mind. It's looking unlikely. There you have Enigma Galaxy. The moment they realize that they have a massive upper hand, they waste no time. And a very well-deserved chicken dinner coming in from Enigma Galaxy. They didn't play this one very quiet either, Imperium, right? They weren't like super hyper-aggressive, but they took the fights they wanted to take. When they saw a couple of players, you know, out in the open where they knew they could get an easy elimination, they went for it. And they kept everyone alive at the end. Although Nova kind of almost stole the show with that incredible showing at the very end there, Enigma Galaxy deserved chicken dinner.
Yeah, big result from Enigma Galaxy in my eyes. They were confident how they held on to the west. They swept in on the edge of the circle. They moved in through the kind of west and southwest, and then they were just really methodical how they played. They dealt with Cryptics, they dealt with Rico, they dealt with the last player BTR. Every single challenge they came up across, they won, and then in the end, they waited out, they third-partied onto Nova, wiped them out, and then it was just them going up against 4 rivals. And I love the fact how, like, you alluded to 4 rivals possibly, like, being able to put in the work. Let's not forget, 4 rivals, they've yet to win a chicken dinner in the PMGC.
Oh my god, yes. You're right. Oh, you're right.
Yeah.
They're gonna get it. You know what? I'm gonna put it out there. They're gonna win a chicken dinner this Super Weekend. The famine will come to an end. I feel it. I feel it. They're looking good. They're looking solid. You know, sometimes it just doesn't quite pan out their way. You know, and it does. It do be like that at times. As I have to say. But yeah, Enigma Galaxy, very well-deserved chicken dinner. They played that so very well. FaZe, I think they had a great opportunity, but I'm still
so
trying
badly missed.
Nah, I'm still trying to pick up my jaw off the floor.
I got nothing to add to that at all. What I want to talk about is Bleh saying that 4 rivals will for sure get a win here in the Super Weekend. Now, gentlemen, I'm trying to confirm if he's willing to make a bet on that or not. But knowing him, he probably will back out. So maybe we'll have to talk about Nova here and ask, are they back to get 8 eliminations, 14 points in general? He did say no. I can't say the entire thing that he said, but he said no. So he's not willing to make a bet on it. So clearly he's not really a 4 rivals fan, Bleh. Anyways, let's move on. Enigma Galaxy, 30 points. That's a big win for them. And again, a big win for a team that has been a little bit lackluster since that first week in league play.
Well, I mean, gone are the days, right, where Enigma Galaxy had that really unfortunate, I think, weekly final performance where it was like, oh, they look so hot. Oh, not so much right now. This is definitely a lot better for them. And likewise, in some of the weeks leading up to this as well, we've seen some good performances from them overall. So very happy to see this come in here, especially considering the way that they were able to control the west side of this circle. They didn't have many threats against them. Rico Infinity was the major one that they took out on this high ground quite patiently, I will say.
Ooh.
Whoa, Tarzan.
I'm here now.
Whoa.
I'm sorry.
Okay, good.
I don't think you can do it anymore. I think it's ruined now, Claris. I think that entire thing that you've been doing for a year of time now is just out the window.
It's gone. It's forever gone.
Just because someone else
so
had
used to filling.
try to do it.
I'm sorry.
Well, Lord, 8 eliminations, putting up some big plays here. Again, the 1,000 damage as we heard before as well. And again, it's nice to see that we can see these players from Enigma Galaxy step up. I feel like we haven't really had someone do that in the roster in quite a while, though I could obviously be mistaken. We've had a lot of matches these last 3 weeks. But at least to, able to show that there are players in this team who can have these really big stand-up performances. And to be fair, I think the entire team really did.
Yes, and to be fair, a lot of momentum coming from the early skirmish as well. Like, they know there are certain teams who like going for these car spawns and just go to the drop store, and Cryptic's one of them. And Enigma Galaxy, being from the same region, playing against them for many, many games through their respective PMPL, knows how to punish that. And they just took that momentum, and hopefully that will be what they need to have another good Super Weekend. But it's not just the western side that we have some change of dynamics, guys, right? We talked about that northeast. 3 teams went over there when the side of Team Secrets not in the lobby. So also DXavier happily taking away El Arza, not having a TJP in the lobby as well. So a bit of a change dynamics between teams from that eastern side.
Yeah, thank you, Max Ben, for pointing that out as well here for us, because it is very interesting to see teams changing their locations depending on who is in the lobby and who's not. And also, just to quickly correct myself, I do want to give credit to Enigma Galaxy, because in week 2, they had 162 points. Yeah. They were the 3rd highest point scoring team. So they've had that kind of bounce back in the same aspect that Infinity had from week 1 of league play, where they bounced back into Super Weekends. And Enigma Galaxy had a fantastic week of league play, and then a very disappointing first week of Super Weekend. But again, our treasure box is still going on, you guys. You can be watching and earning rewards in the Esports Center or over here on YouTube. You can click down below the stream. There's a rewards button to help you get some more tokens to unlock some permanent items. And not to mention, this ends on the 21st. We start the 22nd. We got even more items for you guys to win. So as long as you're watching between the 22nd through the 10th of January, you get some more points that you can use to unlock even more items and even some special rewards. Kalaris, if you could choose a reward here, which one would it be?
It's the AUG, of course, because it's a laser gun and that is a nice color palette. I actually bought some shoes in black and gold recently because it's the right color palette to pick. Is that gold? It's kind of a yellow. I'll go. Yeah, well, we're close enough, Jason.
You have more shoes than I think I have anything in my life. Maybe you probably have more shoes than I have money.
I have a lot of shoes. I have more shoes than my lady friend as well, and she's very annoyed about that. So yeah.
Okay, well, Tarzan, tell us something that you collect that we didn't know about.
Wow, wow, that's sad. Like, that just makes me feel like I don't collect anything. Like, I don't
Strange
know.
Carrots.
But to be fair, I'm pretty. I love shoes as well. I feel like I have this weak spot when it comes to bags, especially handles. Is that what they're called? I don't know. Just bags, right? Bags like backpacks. So yeah, like I've stopped recently.
I don't think I've ever heard that word used before in my life.
Jason.
Handle? What's up?
What do you collect, Jason?
Hold.
I used to collect like old coins.
Oh.
Like whenever I would get coins, I would look through them and find like really old ones.
Mm.
I also collect a lot of dust at home because I'm never here to clean it.
That's true.
And that's probably about it, actually. Now that I think about it, I don't really collect much stuff. It's a little bit sad, but you guys maybe could tell us what you collect at home in Twitch or in chat, obviously, and also you can tell us your favorite team to make their way. Can your favorite team make their way to the finals? So I guess it's a yes or no question. Pretty self-explanatory answer there. But we're gonna head to a break. When we come back, we do have our third map of the day ready to go.
For this flame path, going from Primals all the way up to just between. Hang on a minute. I don't think carpooling is a thing in PMGC. Oh! To the side, get to the tree. That's your cover.
Get over here!
And get your teammate involved.
I don't know. I feel like this is a painful situation if you're Satar. Let's see if he has any tricks up his sleeve. This guy's got the moves. He's got the moves, got the PMGC outfit. He looks clean. He's right up at the top of the car.
I'm gonna need backup. Who's gonna go in now?
Magic Man himself, Satar. But in comes another player. Whoa! To try and what for, and this time, oh, he's got a gun. Okay, yeah, there's not a lot you can do. I mean, dodging cars is one thing.
Oh my god! It's Ragey with the 4v1, taking down the whole... He came in from the grass!
Crawling his way up top. Zoxy's gonna find the line on him. And Song, he's just waiting. He's just waiting for MSC. Oh, he spots Zoxy! Oh, he's just waiting for them to eliminate each other. And he's finally gonna strike the moment. Zoxy gets a knock. Zoxy's found it. And now it is all on Song to make this happen. And he came in from the grass. And Song steals the chicken dinner away from everyone.
Wait for Stalwart and FaZe to somewhat engage on each other. They get in that vehicle and they wrap around the underside. It could work out. The one thing that's going to stop them is Beer 11, who's flanked on the outside.
Allow action to stay alive. The next one is a Molotov, and
Oh,
it's
that's
spreading.
perfect.
Oh, top! He can't even drop and roll. He can jump into the water, but that's not going to quite pan out for him.
Tries to stymie the flow of Bigatron players as they move forwards. Gets a cheeky little angle as Lapis goes down.
I mean, for Yuhai, he has been the one leading this charge at the moment. Zuxi finds Divine, and now it's just a matter of time before the rest of Reject do fall. I think BTR realised they need to do something quickly, but it's Ragey Osio to find the double.
The man of the hour, he's found one, he's found two on the spray down. He's
Oh my god! It's Ragey with the 4v1, taking down the whole of Bigatron. He strikes back.
And three players fall. Your dream might be denied. Bamboo is low. Jumper has the nade. It's looking good. A good cook. Oh, just needs to go a little bit longer. Finds on the back and Bamboo falls. Team Secret wrested away from the high ground control.
But they are in the most uncomfortable spot amongst the three.
How many times have Nigma been put down to like one or two players and they're still up as a full squad? I know it's impossible for the likes of Infinity or DRS to push on them, but that's incredible resilience.
I saw the first light, the first steps. Now I see much more. I capture Earth in all its beauty. I see action. I see drama. And I see it in the finest detail. Moments of inspiration. And the first steps. I am the 1+9.
Welcome back, everyone, to the PUBG Mobile Global Championship 2021 East League. Before we do dive into our third match, remind you guys once again about our sponsor of OnePlus. With its flagship performance and immersive 120Hz display and HyperTouch technology made specifically for gamers, the OnePlus 9 and 9 Pro are your best shot to climb what, Jason? The leaderboards. Good job, Jason. You nailed that one perfectly. All right, so gentlemen, we're going to be headed into Erangel here momentarily. We've got to see Enigma Galaxy have a very good first match for them on match 2. I guess technically it wasn't their first match, but their first good match, at least of today. And we obviously had Infinity, where Jason Kaplan himself predicted them to win and was correct. Tarzan 0 for 2 today, Clara 0 for 2. Actually, Clara, I'm going to give you -1 for 2 because your pick of FaZe Clan in match 1 did not work out at all. I think it was FaZe Clan. It was Nova, even worse. Not at all. But Erangel coming up next year. And again, I think we need to really be focusing on, Deadeye's got our Bigatron, FaZe Clan, Xavier, Damwon. We also need to pay attention to TJB and how they're starting to slip down the leaderboards here. I believe Cryptic's probably on track to pass them within the day since they started off just 10 points behind them. But that's what it's about, right?
Yeah.
It's about seeing which teams are going to pass who and potentially which teams will fall where.
The leaderboards, Jason. Oh, wait, you didn't ask that. Yeah, I mean, I was really hoping...
what time it is right now, Kalaris?
It's, I don't know. No, let me talk about Cryptics here for a moment. I was hoping that they were going to do something on Miramar. Of course, they do want the points. They need the points, but I don't know what went awry there for them, so I do sincerely apologize, Jason, for my second bad prediction of the day.
Okay, well, apology accepted. But you know what time it is right now, Kalaris?
What the leaderboards?
Ooh.
Yes.
Yes! Oh!
Just gonna sit here quietly and wait for it to come up.
Wait, production just said no!
So technically, you'll be right. You can't say no, production. I also heard production is sending us ice cream, so we should expect our delivery here.
I heard that.
And some cake.
We're gonna get another no.
Yes.
And maybe some tea, because I heard tea and cake is a good way to start the day. And to be honest, it is a very part of a healthy, balanced diet. But let's move on from this one. Damwon, Kalaris, you wanted to talk about them at the start of the day.
Yeah.
I'm going to give you the floor now to talk about
Thank you. That's very kind, considering everything I've said today has been useless. We have got, of course, Damwon, Kia here in the position that they're in right now. Obviously, they were previously, as coming into this very start of the day, 19th position. They need a lot of points to be able to push them up. However, I think both me and Tarzan have seen development in them quite significantly. This last league play that they came in, there was 3 decent podium finishes with 10 kills apiece. And though that is not the Damwon that we saw coming in at the start of the tournament. So I think they have adapted. And I am hopeful that our South Korean representatives here can push up the leaderboards. What do you think, Tarzan?
Absolutely. Like, when you look at the mini-map as well, you look at the time of them rotating in phase 1, there is a significant improvement. I'm just not... Okay, it's not always good if you're quick, but they were quite prepared, like the way that they were rotating in. And if you just look at mid-game sometimes on that bottom right with that point table, they were that team that constantly gets some eliminations before we hit maybe the 15-16 minute mark. So they were making something work with the changes in the early game, and God forbid, like we wish more teams do something like that to really fix something, test more things. They were bold with those, and it worked out.
I don't know how I feel about that necessarily being bold, in the sense of I'm trying to think of their eliminations over the course of the last 3 weeks, and there's really not many matches that ever stand out. They had the one victory with Sung just being the last player left alive, winning a 1v2 when no one was looking at him.
Yeah.
We have seen like a couple of glimpses that they can get eliminations, but if we compare them to likes of Infinity, to Enigma, to Genesis Dogma, we're not seeing like consistent eliminations come through out of this team, and that worries me if they want to get into the grand finals.
I will say conversion has been fortuitous in some essences, as you can see here, now pushing up slightly against Xavier, actually tied in terms of points technically. But the thing that I do like about it is that, and it's kind of not common when you're talking about South Korean representation in terms of esports as a whole. They were relatively passive, and normally a South Korean representation would be kind of quite aggressive. Now, that passive play has kind of then eventually led them in some really rough spots, but it's slowly getting to the point where they're finding the groove in this lobby. So at the point where that passive play can then start being a bit more aggressive once they know, okay, we know what's around us, we know which teams are around us and which positions they've taken. Now we can aggress onto these kind of spots, etc. So it's still some work to do for sure, but they can move up, I think.
So I'd say obviously every team that is here participating is like the cream of the crop.
Yeah.
But do you feel like Damwon can keep up when it comes to the raw mechanics of being able to take on a firefight against, Pairboy, who's been really standout for Nova?
Not currently. It's weird because, again, usually South Korea is ahead of so many other regions in so many other titles, but here in PUBG Mobile, it's been a little bit slower. I think that is fair, and they're definitely not as well versed, and especially on the international stage like this. So there is still a learning curve there for them, I think, here on this kind of stage.
Yeah, I think maybe one reason for that is maybe some stability in the scene as an esport, right? I think maybe just some more time is needed to really catch up. I mean, if you look at other games as well, it took South Korea, maybe a year, maybe half a year to 2 years, and then they really kind of hammer home everything. Yeah, exactly. Then they just completely run away with everything, and they overrun an entire league with just basically Korean players. But we'll see if they can obviously continue that pace.
A little bit of intra organizational preference, maybe. When you look at teams like Bigatron, their whole org is based around this game. When you talk about Tungwon Kia, come on, they've got so many other esports as well. So sometimes when it comes to support and maybe allocation of resources, that has a role to play in maybe the way that they're performing as well.
Okay. Well, I mean, moving on, we obviously have a lot of other teams to talk about. Xavier, we need to have a little bit of a step up, and maybe at some point today, over the next 2 days, one of us will predict them to be the team. But that is not what's happening for me. Tarzan, we'll start off with you in the end since you have yet to go first today.
Stalwart Esports. I feel like they, yes, for sure, they take a nap from time to time and come back stronger. I feel like this nap is going on for a little bit too long now, so it's about time for them to wake up.
Yeah, I mean, just sleeping a little bit. It's the weekend. Kind of. It's Friday. Hilaris, what about you?
A bit more of a, well, not really a wild one by any stretch of the imagination. I'm going to go with FaZe. I do think they're good on Erangel. I think that this is where their comeback began, and I think it's about time for them to get a win.
See, I was going to choose FaZe, and then I saw that you chose FaZe, and I saw your track record today, so I steered away from FaZe, and instead went towards where Tarzan was thinking, and went with Stalwart as well. I want to see them wake up. Hey,
my track record.
It could be the Kalar's curse. Who knows?
Well, when Max is back, we'll see how it goes. All right.
Cheers.
All right. Well, we'll have to wait a little bit of time before Max does come back, but it is time to bring our commentators. So we don't have to wait much longer to see the beautiful faces of Blank and John Allen.
Thank you very much. There you go. It's a compliment to kick things off. Blank, you're looking very floral today. Looking very good as well. We're going to be getting into Erangel, and there's a lot of foliage there. Maybe you'll blend in.
Maybe I will. I mean, I'm gold and white though, so I feel like I might be a little bit easy to spot, shining that away. I do want to say the reason I looked a little bit confused though is because I realized that I couldn't see anything, and that was because I didn't have my glasses on. So now I can see stuff. I was like, that's very strange. I can't see over that. Oh, I've not got my glasses on. Luckily, I can see this plane path now, which heads up from Primos up towards Kameshki side. So happy days here. As we head into this one though, John, 6 to 8, doing 6 to 8 things, dropping down towards Primos side.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's a little bit far for the Infinity to go. They might actually struggle to grab some vehicles to get across this this estuary to be able to get towards the Sanhok military base, which is their normal drop spot. It just depends what Reject are going to do, but it looks like they're going to drop a little bit further towards Ferry Pier and have that split out to the east in those yellow buildings just south on the south coast there. So hopefully Infinity going to be relatively unchallenged in their rotations. And again, just a fair split across the rest of the map.
And a very fair circle as well. This is probably the most central circle we've seen in a long time, actually, for this one. I think that, this Super Weekend has been made very interesting purely because DRS and Team Secret are in this. Mainly because they're not going to be taking these points away from other teams. With a position that they ended up in with like 8th and 9th place, right? That was definitely a place where if they continue playing as they did do in their past 2 Super Weekends, a lot of those points towards the bottom side, they weren't going to be able to grab them, as many at least. But now it's opened up a much more. I think we have a much more even playing field down towards the bottom of the standings at least. We still have teams like Genesis Dogma, Infinity, as well as 4 Rivals who are sucking up a lot of the points, as well as Stalwart. So those teams, they're going to continue to do well. I will agree with Tarzan though, very quickly. The Stalwart have been napping, right? They're in hibernation at the moment.
Yeah, they haven't quite reared the head just yet. And you can see them just getting sprayed down by 6 to 8 there. Goodness me, what a forward push from 6 to 8. Very, very nice on that hillside. But it feels like this is not the same stalwart that we want to see, that we know we have seen in the past, and we're looking forward to it. It's going to be hopefully back on the road again.
Yeah, hopefully back on the road again. Currently dropping down to 4th place in the overall rankings, as well as being in that third Super Weekend. It's not really good for Stalwart. The Infinity, on the other hand, a clear 60-point lead over Genesis Dogma after that massive game they had at the start of the day, which was incredible and returned to form. And you know what, Jason? Genius. Just a genius move from him to pick Infinity on that first game. Like, the thing is, these guys are saying that, well, yeah, but these guys on the desk are saying that he picks the same team every time. Well, how can he pick the same team every time when it's the first game of the day? All right? It's just unbelievable, really. Even the logic they're using is flawed.
I can confirm that's how numbers work. I've heard, anyway. That is, in fact, right. So
I don't know what you've been listening to, but there it is.
That's, you know, sometimes it just be like that, you know. People don't think it be like it is, but it do.
You keep asking me if I know. I'm going to tell you right now. I do not know what you're talking about.
You know?
I do know PUBG Mobile, though. And you know that Reject are going to be down towards Ferry Pier. This is a general drop spot for them. I think they've been trying to adjust things a little bit. And for Reject, things haven't been going so excellently. I think they're one of the few teams other than Cryptics, Rico Infinity, and Reject. Well, in fact, other than just Rico Infinity and Cryptics, who have 3 Super Weekends and yet are in that bottom 10, right? It's a little bit awkward for them. Being in that 10th spot, though, is not so bad. They're still trying to pull up those numbers, but I do feel like there's a lot more juice in this team that can be ringed out this tournament, right? I don't think they're done yet. They are about 8 points away from that 200-point threshold, where we're saying that, yeah, you should be safe-ish at that point in time. And they will most likely jump DRS as well as Team Secret as this Super Weekend continues.
Yeah, it looks fairly likely that that is on the cards for them, and that they are fairly safe. And speaking of, you know, where that point bubble is most likely going to fall, I feel like Tongjabao, I mean, a lot of people are sort of saying, you know, it's almost confirmed that they're not going through. But I feel like it is actually very much on the wire for them. It's likely, sure, that a lot of teams are going to jump up over them, given the number of games that we've still yet to play. But they're still sat in 12th right now, right? They're still sat in 12th place, which means that they need 4 teams, or even 5 teams, to jump up on over them to be able to knock them out, right? So it needs 5 teams to make up that points difference, which actually adds up to quite a lot of points going down towards the bottom of the table. So it's you know, it's definitely volatile down there.
I would say so, 100%. Still, so I could technically add this all up underneath them and look at the points threshold. I think that would be probably interesting, but I don't imagine any guys at home are interested in that right now. What you should be interested in, however, is the treasure box that's going on at the moment. So if you're watching through the esports tab in-game, or you're watching over on YouTube, you can start to earn those PMGC tokens, which you can then use to redeem those treasure boxes through that esports tab and get yourself some nice little loot, right? That's what it's all about, getting that loot. We pick up our loot in-game, and you can pick up your loot in-game as well. But you might not be playing, you might just be watching. That's okay too. We're glad to have you here with us.
And there's plenty more information if you have any questions in the in-game esports center, so go check that one out. As we said, though, before, center circle, and no one really going to have a chivvy on just yet. The main adjustment I think that we're really seeing in this game is Stalwart, right? Up to Lipovka and Milta split. I mean, they have been dropping during league play and over the last couple of weeks in Novo in general. But with the playing path, I feel like this is excusable. I say excusable. This is a reasonable adjustment.
Yeah, I would say so as well. I think that there are teams who make these adjustments depending on, like, very drastic playing paths, and that there's other teams like Stalwart here who decide, you know, it's a minor adjustment, but it gives us more time on the island, it gives us more time to loot, and we don't have to worry about Genesis Dogma or Bigatron down towards Milta. And I think it's a smart play as well, considering you know that you're coming into a Super Weekend with DX Xavier, Genesis Dogma, and Bigatron, who all like to mill around that south east side of the map. So I think for Stalwart, it's just a case of let's get down to Milta. At least we're on the island, and then we can move in slowly but surely. We don't have to worry about crossing the bridge. It's a little bit less awkward. You can see that even Daybot right now, you can't see on your map at the moment, I will explain it to you. He did actually make a little excursion down towards the eastern bridge in the first place, just to check what was going on. So I think that Stalwart have kind of, I wouldn't say it's like they've owned it, but it's okay. It's good.
Oh, tale as old as time, though. 6-8 on the bridge. Waiting
Look
for the
how awkward this is. Yeah.
He's like, I know you're there. I know you're there. Where are you, you sneaky bugger?
Yeah, it's a painful one. And it pains me watching it because I feel like with Erangel being like such a massive chunk of your points anyway, this happening every single time. 6-8, it doesn't matter for the Infinity at this point. But I think 6-8 just want to get away with getting 1 point. It just boggles my mind at the same time, John, because why do 6-8 take this fight? Like, I don't...
They lose a lot of time, don't they?
Yeah. It boggles the mind.
Ooh. So is it, by all
I've been
rights...
thinking about it a lot recently.
I mean, to be fair, if you're going to handle one team in the lobby each game, getting rid of the Infinity does increase your point scoring total, right? But in comes the crash. The spray down's not quite there as Mela sends straight on through, as to the rest of the Infinity. 33Z tries to post up, but they spread out wide. A little tickle of damage sent to the foreguard there. The Vanguard push for the Infinity. Newsy left on the back, but the team now spread out. And honestly, now 6-8 are in trouble here.
Yeah. But I'm literally eyes emoji right now because it just let them go past. That was the worst hold I've seen in a long time.
That's, yeah. I mean, it looks like the Infinity have really been brushing up on those bridge pushes, though. Like, getting someone there early, getting Newsy in position early, opening up with a little bit of damage, depression, and in that chaos immediately, sending straight on through, triple buggy push. I feel like this is a new, not necessarily new strategy from Infinity, but definitely a new lease on the specific engagement. Yeah.
Refined. And I think that one of the best parts of that is that you said the triple buggy push, but it's like it's a staggered push as well. So they've got one goes out, then one a little bit later, and then one after that. And it means they can't all focus on just one singular unit, one singular convoy. So really well done. I mean, you hit the nail on the head there, John, but still, it really boggles my mind. I want 6-8 to stop doing this because it's not going to benefit them in the finals because Infinity will be there.
In general, I feel like it's more worth it to go to a compound that you know that Infinity are looking to rotate through or past to try and grab one of their players there at this stage. Because as we highlighted earlier, right, like they have lost so much time moving forwards. They're now behind everybody else. They've let Reject get ahead. They're behind Nova. They're behind Enigma Galaxy all the way in Pachinki as well. There's not a lot of time for them.
And there's also something to be said of waiting to use this strategy until finals and maybe posting up here and there, but doing it every single game for 6-8 has allowed this to happen. And funnily enough, it's like you are encouraging growth within a team. Because you're like, well, if we want to get past the bridge, we need to get better at bridge crossings. And the Infinity now have it pretty much down to a pat. So if 6-8 ever want to do this in the finals, it's probably not going to work out anymore.
Ooh. They are being hounded right now as well. Infinity, they finally managed to win this bridge fight, and they are out for blood. They've paid the price too many times to let this one lie. Newsy over the top, Logan as well, and trapped in the L-bend there in the corner. They're just being burnt from one end, and they're being smoked out into danger all around. One player now standing, just Sunan, and that nade should do the trick. One spray down, but it's going to be all too easy nade to put the final nail in the coffin for 6-8, and they'll be thinking twice about going for that bridge camp again.
Yeah, I mean, Sunan was choking on smokes and grenades at the end there, so I don't think he was long for this world regardless of what happened. Let's take a quick look at the circle. Oh, yes, thank you very much, observers. Sends us over to Pachinki. This is where a lot of the action has been occurring, actually. You got Enigma Galaxy, Reject on the western side. You got Nova playing a four-man, well, a 2-2 split at the moment between either side of the northwest of Pachinki. But there's a lot of players around here. Now, I don't think it's 100% certain to drop down towards Pachinki, John, but there's I think probably at least half of the players in the lobby down towards the southeast side. So if we get a northwest circle and FaZe can continue to hold on to Everest, they've done it before and they've done it fairly nicely before. It could be a good game for FaZe.
Hopefully. Well, I mean, James is certainly hoping so. Predicting them on the desk. It's fair enough. Stalwart They're rooting for them as well. Potato Hill taken. Next circle about to pop flank. We'll see where that's going to shift us.
It will be really important because, you know, we'll either have a very scrappy game up towards the northwest, or we'll have... oh, there we go. Yeah, there's your scrappy game for you. And I like this from FaZe, though, because they've got a 2-2 split on top of the mountain on Everest, as well as the beautiful compound just down towards the southeast of it. So they're holding multiple positions, ready for anything. I would say that moving down to that compound now, if you're the guys on top of Everest, might be a wise idea, considering you've got Cryptics as well as MS Chumbury vying for position on Everest. Just leave them to it. Take something safer in this situation.
Xavier moving across, trying to cover ground, and actually fairly successfully. Through a very treacherous part of the map as well. I feel like there might be a little bit of a traffic jam here in Ruins, though, Blank. I mean, Denmark Gaming just moved up to this line.
With Denmark Gaming heading into this area, again, there's a load of trees around here, so there is ability to kind of go unnoticed with the ruins that are available as well. There's a lot of sneaky areas. It's the getting in which is the difficult part. I like Stalwart's rotation here, heading all the way up to the north side of Rozhok, and they're going to come in towards Box Compound. They will encounter Rico Infinity Team on the way. Genesis Dogma, not having the best of days today. I think their fight between them and FaZe was phenomenal earlier on in Erangel, where it was basically Sitar and Daybot. So, you know, you still have those glimmers of ridiculous excellence from this team. But again, just the point scoring hasn't been up there. I think that Erangel is definitely their place to do it. I'm just a bit curious of what's going on.
Bigatron moving into a compound held by two of the Reject players right now. There's a little bit of a split for Reject, and they can come for the regroup, and in fact they will. The first knock goes their way. Luxy on the ridge line. Actually not managed to get their first knock, sorry. I thought that was going down, but there we go. Only Zuxi to fall. Reiji still alive. 3 players on the forefront, and Reject actually leaving someone in the back as well. They don't even want to put all of their eggs into this basket. A nade in through the window, not going to quite land. It's a little bit further behind there, but that one will certainly do the job. Yuhai very low.
Yeah, he takes Zuxi down, send another one through. Ignore the general location because he will have seen the hit marker on that. Luxy coming through on the backside. I think for Bigatron, Reject right now kind of are their kryptonites. It's a bit awkward. It's a nice Molotov from Yuhai Boy, which opens things up, and with Luxy trying to go for that flank on the right-hand side, you can see him there. There might be a possibility. I think it's now down to Duello and Divine, and Sara really needs to get his butt over here because things are not going well.
Need to regroup. Sara actually now into the fray, but Yuhai spotted it. What a switch up there. As the nade from Luxy as well, just pushing onto that tree. 2 players from Reject now standing in this compound. 3 alive for Bigatron. As Luxy moves forward around the side of the hay bales. Takes a little bit of damage, and there's another player up for the fight, but not going to be able to make it happen. Only a sliver of HP, and Divine's on the swivel as well. Spraying in through the window, but finally gets dispatched there. As the spray around the side, not going to quite land for him. Yuhai gets the final deal, and will be able to trump it on out against Reject.
That was a great deal as well. No handshakes involved, though, because all of your poor guys on Reject were eliminated in that situation. I think now this really is a FaZe game. Rico Infinity are looking to pass by their compound and perhaps move into it, in fact. But they're being cautious about it. I think for FaZe, though, they are so good when it comes to holding circles that they own. They're very patient, I'd say. They never push anything that they don't have to, and more a case it's kind of that rising tide that slowly but surely will become a monstrous force towards the end of the game. And I like that from FaZe. I think that there is a lot of teams that try to go for flashy plays, but FaZe is more just along the lines of let's make it happen even if it takes a while.
Stalwart's long sling rotation. Moves up to the top of Everest against MS Chonburi. 2 of them get sat down, but Scry's in for the long haul there. Pika now lost standing, though, as backup comes through. 2 players standing now for MS Chonburi. And the regroup for Stalwart. Jasper coming on in. This is a good movement from MS Chonburi. The question is, how fast can Stalwart get back together? How fast can those pieces be picked up? And it looks like MS Chonburi gonna save one of their players there. Top getting healed on out. Scry gonna get naded out here. They know these positions with the regroup from Jasper. That position was spotted out, and the nade is good and long, and it will find the damage.
Damn, that's so sad. They're actually getting the res through onto action. He gets taken down mid-res. Now it's a 2v2 though. John Top looking to find TJ13. Does hit one, hits the second as well. That's top things for you.
Stalwart relying now on top, their front man with the M4 in hand, looking for the spray, gets it done, and the backup for the backline from Pika, excellently found. Beautiful stuff from Stalwart to stay alive, but they are down to 2 blank on a tricky descent towards FaZe.
And it's so curious. Like, I think that they weren't sure that MSC were going to be up in that position. And I think for when you look at that fight, objectively, Stalwart looks so much the better team. Their ability to make plays, Scry's just peeking up above and then peeking back down again. Mechanically, these guys are incredibly gifted. And I think that might just been the case because they made that Rozok push. They had absolutely no information on this circle, so they just get caught in a trap. Obviously, we didn't see the context to that fight, but that fight does make, surprisingly, Stalwart look really strong despite losing 2 players.
Deadeye's guys pushing up to the 4 rivals now. The blue zone at their back, so they need to make this push work, blank. Trying to swing out wide, but it's a really rocky uphill battle there. Not quite landing that nade in through the window either. There was the smoke just to cut off those sight lines. They continue to move through the bubble nade field. That one went right through the top. It went right through the top there.
No, I mean, interestingly enough, they've managed to get in. 4th zone, though, will tick very hard. I think on top's just going to go down immediately. Yeah, Pembura hits it.
Turu Love not quite going to be able to escape the sight lines, but actually Rico Infinity team starting to come into this one could prove tricky for 4 rivals who have lost 2 around the edge there, and Deadeye's guys doing work against this squad on the whole. Northeastern side, a hotbed of action right now as they manage to wrest control of the church back. 2 players alive for them, sending for the hills, the spray. This is an open side buggy, and the 4 rivals get dispatched. Blank, that didn't go the way I thought it would. Rico Infinity team now on the guard.
I think Rico Infinity is just a very, very quick push from them and a very intelligent one as well. By all rights, 4 rivals should have won that fight versus the guys from Deadeye's guys. But the thing is, Rico Infinity just caused problems. Satar tries to get out of the way of that grenade. It's very close to him and just throws him over the top just to give him a little bit of space to breathe.
A little bit of a sitter there. Marshall also suppressing the ridgeline from across the way, the foothills of Everest. Needing to be descended from now. FaZe are going to have to leave their compound as the circle shifts out to the east. Infinity trying to strike out that way as well, but they're being cut down as they move. At the moment, DXAver and Bigatron and Damwon Kia as well on the eastern side looking pretty solid, but Nova slap bang in the middle.
Cryptic's just getting torn apart as they come through, looking like paper mache. FaZe, though, do lose a couple. MR5 goes low, Lazy Boy down, and now just El Chapo remains. Most likely you'll pick up Tony K here. You want to confirm this fight. Getting as many as players back up as possible for FaZe is practically imperative at this point in time with the push they have to make. It does leave it a little bit open, but with Cryptics out on the roadside like that, I don't think that they'll be playing in this Erangel for much longer.
The Infinity eliminated Logan, the last player, taken down now. 6 limbs already for Bigatron on the south side, and they're moving up to this crate in the center of the map as well. Getting a lot of position. Cryptics eliminated now to boot. And with 7 teams remaining.
And Nova's really been pushing it today. I think that might be a product of that 1v3 they got done against them by Appy from 4 rivals in that first game, purely because they are kind of trying to push it as hard as they can, and it kind of puts them into these awkward scenarios sometimes. I'm okay with it considering Nova's been such a quiet team throughout this entire tournament, just getting points where they can, and finally they're trying to control these zones. I'm okay with it as long as we continue to see these improvements. Goodness me, just popped out of the vehicle there. Enigma Galaxy with 4. There's an awkward push now, like I said, for FaZe to get down from there. Everyone's looking at your position, but you got to be careful if you're Enigma taking these open fights.
And Bigatron capitalized really very nicely. Allow FaZe to get back up, sure, but now they're both sort of locked and slowed on that northwestern edge. So it's good news for Bigatron, who have a very wide split as the next circle shifts almost entirely onto them.
I mean, for Bigatron, yes, with 3 players and Liquid in the mix, maybe there's a chance here. I think that they're likely going to be the last people that anyone has to fight. So they have a lot of time to just chill in this location. DXavier, I think, surprisingly gone down to 2 players. They were one of the only teams with 4 towards the beginning of this one. Down 1, Enigma Galaxy Nova still sitting pretty with all their members on board.
The M24. The crosshairs on the ridge line, sends a shot in, but it's not going to land. Rico Infinity team lose their last player as FaZe keep on pushing. The Nova's still in their way. Enigma Galaxy looking to crunch as well. The jaws try and slam shut, but teeth evaded for the meantime in FaZe.
Yeah, Paraboy. SKS there with the silence. Tony K has no idea where he's been shot from. Looks towards the window. Has spotted something. This is really good callouts coming from them. Tony K will go down from Ralph. Enigma Galaxy is just trying to push up on these guys as much as possible. I think they think that FaZe has found an opening and now they want a bit of the action.
DXavier, they managed to get the knock onto Luxy there, but Frankie now the last player standing for the squad. 2 players from Bigatron, and it feels like their hold just got a lot weaker, right? Without Luxy on the back, with those long-range suppressions, and actually now just having Yuhai getting knocked as well, Bigatron's reign over this circle could be coming to an end. FaZe looking to move in from that northwestern side, but Nova are just shutting them out at every turn. They have something to handle it.
Playing it out very nicely. It's awkward though. Jimmy though with the swivel will hit it round, finds the final player from FaZe. Now Nova has to push in. This is good stuff though. Enigma Galaxy up on Liquid's position. Gets absolutely ripped apart. That's BTR now out. Nova, Enigma Galaxy, DXavier, and Down 1 Gaming. This might be a really good chance for Korea here. They have 4 members up and waiting to push into this. Maybe they won't have to rob this victory. Maybe they can secure it the legal way.
Certainly a fairly crucial game for them as well, towards the bottom of the tables for Damwon Kia. Excellent point scoring potential with the numbers to be able to make it happen. Nova trapped on the edge. If they can work with Enigma Galaxy to just control that area, that zone, but looks like there's no accords being struck right now. Every team for themselves. The circle moves actually towards Enigma Galaxy.
Enigma Galaxy couldn't be happy about this one. Somehow they've managed to keep all their players up. It's been rough though. I think a lot of them are down. Sadly, this is why Down 1 Kia is towards the bottom of the tables, is that they are just crumbling under the might of Nova at the moment.
Wow. That's brutal. That is brutal. The nades just keep pouring down, and that is Down 1 Kia eliminated from the game. 3 teams remaining, and only 1 team with everybody standing. It's going to be Nova, looking to potentially just grab a whole bunch of points. Again, this is a team who is further down the tables than they might have otherwise liked. I mean, they were sat, I think at the start of this game, they were sat down towards the low end of the qualifying teams. So they just want to see themselves safer if they can. DXavier going down, and now it's Nova versus Enigma Galaxy.
Enigma Galaxy has been on a tear this past couple of days, even in league play. They've been looking so much better, and I kind of have to have an eye on them now. That they're putting themselves on the map. They've pinpointed themselves in. Now setting up very quickly into position behind trees, several different locations. Order though, with a ridiculous flank comes through, finds 1 knock, tries to confirm Freak. That does put Nova in a bit of an awkward situation now that they're gonna have to try and re-stabilize from.
2 players for either side as Order on the flank did get taken down. The res available here for Nova. Not looking like it's available though on the flip side for Enigma Galaxy, so it's going to be a 3 versus 2, but make that 1 as Ralph now last up to bat finds King around the side. Plenty of HP, but his helmet's low as well. Drops for the shot, but the spray from Paraboy on the iron sights pays the iron price. Nova take the chicken dinner.
I think that is actually one thing. The Paraboy's has been rocking the iron sights on AKM all game. Like, what is happening? The one that makes me really happy though, John, is that Paraboy is performing. When I first heard about this guy way back when, it was like he was hyped up to be the biggest thing. I watched him in PAL, he looked pretty damn good, and then you watch him in PMGC, and I was like, well, you know, he's not the greatest in the world. I feel like a lot of his other teammates are doing a lot of the work. Comes into this PMGC with his fires just re-burning at the highest temperature. I am so impressed by Paraboy. And it's nice to see the face, you know, and the name lives up to the skill in game.
Absolutely. I mean, it's phenomenal as well because he's been part of the conversation basically since the first, like, when PMCO was being launched, right? I remember him topping the tables in Berlin. Everybody started adding boy to the end of their name because he was doing so well. Like, it was actually incredible. And the fact that he's still going at the top of the game for so long now, I think is phenomenal. The guy's a nutter.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a strong game as well, coming through from Nova. They'll get a fair few points on the cards for themselves. And this should sit them pretty for today, to be honest with you. If they get a couple more good games, maybe tomorrow or even the next couple of games as well, they could just secure themselves into the finals just like that. And I mean, Imperium was saying it, and I got to agree with him, is that you can't count Nova out. Like, they did this last PMGC, which is a case of, let's take a quick break, guys. Let's not do Super Weekend 2. And we'll come back strong for Super Weekend 3 and then win the finals. So you've got to be scared of this team. Luckily for us, it is not just a one-horse race anymore, though. We have some really, really strong teams from several different regions also battling out here in the PMGC.
Absolutely. There's so many other teams going for it. And there's so many other teams towards the bottom of the tables going for it. Bigatron as well, another team that you feel like you can never quite count out. I feel like they are that Super Weekend team, right? But they weren't quite able to hold on to that. So instead, Nova from the north will be able to sweep it clean. It's going to be a great result for them. I think they might have been able to beat out Tongjiabao now, sat above them in the tables. We'll have to wait and see and look at those tables a little bit later as we head over to the desk.
Yes, indeed. There is that chance that they're able to surpass them. And now TJB, if that did happen, are getting more and more worried throughout all these matches, seeing teams start to rise up and start to pass them and knock them further down this leaderboard. What we can see here, speaking of leaderboards, 31 points for Nova. I think that's one of their biggest games they've had yet here in PMGC 21.
Yeah, there's a big difference between them being center of these later circles compared to them being center in the first circle in Erangel, right? Where the terrain is very, very different. They're able to play this a little bit more stably compared to being in the center early in these circles, as well as being 3 compared to 4. But yeah, Nova, very, very impressive stuff, especially going up against Nigma towards the end that I thought was going to, cast a little black hole on the position of Nova, but not to be, despite having a great result in the previous game, Jason.
Yeah, good result in the last game. Unfortunately, our pick here, Tarzan, didn't do as well as Claris's. We only got 5 points with Stalwart Esports, but to be fair, FaZe Clan didn't really finish off, and it seems like your prediction just a little bit delayed, Claris, since you had Nova in the last match. But Paraboy.
Ooh, 1,048 damage. It's as if I looked at the stats before and knew exactly the number we were gonna get. I mean, it's Paraboy. Yeah, the crazy thing is that the fact that he can do these numbers in a game where he's controlling things is cool, but he can still do these numbers in games where they're not controlling things. So
yes,
very rounded player.
I mean, this game is interesting in the sense that not every team get this type of finish when they get a center position, right? Around Erangel, around phases 4 and 5, they were that team who understood the spot that they were at, and they expanded control and made sure they took what they could. And that is a really, really important area of skill. We see teams sometimes being given, some grounds, but they didn't know how to work with. And I think that game, when it comes to a given landscape, is about that decision. How much ground do you want to control, and how do we do that? Obviously, Nova ran away with that one.
Yeah, we can see here they have passed TJB, so they're in 12th place, and TJB have fallen to 13th with 163 points. Cryptic still on hot pursuit at 158, and then Deadeye's guys were on 16 points so far total in the Super Weekend at 138. So I think we're really honest with ourselves. 100% sure TJB won't make it into the finals at this rate.
Yeah, there was a slight moment of hesitation for me to say that at the very beginning of the day, but considering the teams that are just below them, considering the difference that's there, yeah, I think we're guaranteed, Jason, to be seeing TJB falling out here, which is unfortunate for them. They came in hot to the tournament, but right now it's going to take an absolute miracle.
Yeah, and unfortunate they took the very first chicken dinner of the entire event.
Yeah.
And speaking of taking things, you guys can get yourself a permanent reward if you're watching in the U Sports Center. You're watching here over on YouTube. There's also a rewards button. You can click actually below the stream here to get even more points to build up towards unlocking one of these permanent items. And not to mention, after the 21st, we're going to have the second box available for you guys starting on the 22nd through January 10th, where you can get even more things and plus some special rewards. Maybe one of those rewards will be Tarzan telling us one of the things that he collects.
Oh.
God, like I still haven't got an answer. I feel like it's just broken memories of my past. That sounds extremely sad, but I need to. I don't know. Like I don't even know. Yeah, I'll come back with an answer for that. I've still got 2 more days, so through this super weekend we'll find an answer.
Well, we got some bad news for you, Tarzan, because you have yet to answer that question. You've been removed off the next 2 days of shows, and it's just going to be me, Claris, because we don't want to bring Maxman either.
And every day I can bring up another thing that I collect because I collect so many things, Jason. So we'll be fine. Yeah.
Okay. Well, here's a viewer thought for you guys. Which team will perform the best on Sanhok, and why is it Infinity? Because let's be honest, it's always Infinity. It seems to be when it comes to Sanhok. Let us know your thoughts in chat, obviously. And I did see a Mr. Shah, SHAH, agreeing with me about how he collects dust as well. But to be fair, I mean, hopefully it's the same case that you're just not home enough to clean the place rather than you just let dust collect in your place, because that's not good for you or your lungs. I don't know where I'm going with this, so gentlemen, save me here.
Well, yeah, I mean, as long as you're not absolutely static and just collecting dust that way, I'm sure you'll be fine, Jason.
Okay, well, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to sit static this entire time while we're into break, but when we do come back, we have Sanhok coming up for you, and you're not going to want to miss it.
NANI?! お前はもう死んでいる。
I saw the first light, the first steps. Now I see much more. I capture Earth in all its beauty. I see action. I see drama. And I see it in the finest detail. Moments of inspiration. And the first steps. I am the 1+9.
We are back, everyone. It is our 4th match. The day is flying through, and we're about to fly in onto Sanhok here in just a few moments' time, where Claris has gotten the prediction down to a T. He has foreseen the future. He knows exactly who's going to win this match. And he also confirmed that if he is wrong, because he's that confident, he's going to give away every single card he has. I'm not going to mention what card it is, because it's just any card. It could be his bank card, it could be his credit card, it could be collectible cards. Who knows? It's just any card at all will be taken from him and putting it into my bank account. Sanhok coming up next, guys, and Sanhok typically has always generally gone the way of Infinity in terms of how well they perform. but we have started to see some teams step up, like we mentioned with Nova today, that we've seen a little bit quiet in the past.
If you're referring to those cards, Jason, you're going to need a forklift truck to get the amount of them that's out of my house, because there's way too many. But Sanhok, yeah, now on the cards. And I think overall, it's going to be interesting to see how this lobby matches up against one another. Obviously, that first circle is super important because of how Trifecta and the rivers intersecting these islands really does matter. And Nova, right now, looking very spicy, along with Order as well as Powerboy.
Yeah, Order's been pretty consistent.
Very good. Order's been so key. Like, I think the way that he was playing in relation to his team, he's just controlled a pocket on his own and passed on the info. I mean, I watched some of the bots before. That seems to be his role, and just constantly putting out damage. But Sanhok, guys, we have not had that since last Sunday. So that will be a very interesting game, I think, especially with the adjustments that we are seeing based on teams not in the lobby as well. That's what we saw on Miramar, so it may happen again in the jungles.
Okay, I mean, I'm kind of hoping for something like that to happen, but I'm also hoping for Damwon to have a good game. If I'm not mistaken, Sung was the one that won Sanhok for them with that like 1v2 at the end, just sneaking his way through towards that final zone.
It's one of the battlegrounds where you can prevail by being a bit more sneaky sometimes. Of course, you've just got to stay away from those scary spots like those third parties that come along. But there have been instances where if you're just chilling, if you're being a sneaky snake, you can get yourself all the way to the very end. So let's see if that occurs.
And I think for some teams, especially when you're down towards like the bottom of the leaderboards and you're trying to qualify through into the Super Weekend, Xavier, Damwon, Bigatron, even FaZe right now, they have surpassed, if I'm not mistaken, BTR into 16 plays, if I can read this correctly.
Yeah.
I feel like you almost have to play extremely safe here just to have a chance to get some points. Like if you're in those bottom echelons of the leaderboards, you need to get every point possible, because we've already had what, 2 tiebreakers out of the 3 weeks determine which teams get into the Super Weekend. I almost feel like there's a guarantee it's going to come down to like 1 or 2 points for the grand finals, or for the finals, I should say.
Yeah, the thing is with this map as well, is to define playing safe is really weird. You almost have to look into med strat, and those 1 or 2 points may be the difference of 1 and 2 first aid. And you do have to ask, when will teams pull out a particular card and play it? Nigma Galaxy, I want to talk about them because of the momentum that they have. You want to believe that they do not lean towards heal strat as much and almost being a little bit more bold and controlling from where they rotate from. So like that is one thing that I'll look out for sure.
I'm trying to remember. Last week we didn't have Xavier playing, so Paradise was just kind of open. I think it was Rico Infinity team, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah. They would butt heads consistently there. I'm kind of wondering, has Xavier said, okay, well, again, we can't really afford to go out early. We need to be building up points. So I'm assuming they might just actually ditch that location overall just to avoid Rico Infinity.
And there's some decent trash loot around Paradise Resort that give you still the same rotation path, so maybe that could be an answer.
Okay, predictions. Tarzan, you went first last time, so Kalaris, you go first this time.
All right, it's time for 4 rivals to finally get a win. I'm even going to predict the circle. We're going to be on the southwest island for these guys, and they're finally going to get that win. This is going to be the Kalaris blessing coming back to form.
Well, if you're so confident, let's get a prediction in how many eliminations they get. Let me write this down.
13.
13. 1, 3. All right, Tarzan.
FaZe Clan with the momentum and the bootcamp dynamics, they used to hot drop alongside Stoa Esports, but they are the better looking team right now. So with their early setup to surround and maybe pinch bootcamp, I feel like that could be the way that they start this game well.
How many elims?
Don't do 12. This every time.
12. Okay. I'm going Infinity, actually, because why would I go Infinity? They've done well for me today, and they do well in Sanhok, and I'm going to give you eliminations of 9. 9 eliminations. 9. Let's head to our commentators. Those are going to hop into Sanhok right here, right now. It's John Allen and Blank.
Oh, yes,
9.
9. Thank you very much, Jason. Yes, very good. Jason, the master predictor on the desk. Yes. Oh, I think that 12 is a lot of eliminations for Sanhok. I think 9's a lot of eliminations for Sanhok, honestly.
That's true. I haven't run the numbers on, the average.
Run them now. I will.
Bring it up, Jamie.
If you want to give me, if you want to give me some time, I'll see what the average.
I will
first
talk about the
place
circle. Do it now.
scores is. Okay, all right. Give me a second.
Do it now. I'm going to do the
I'll
circle.
tabulate.
Okay, so I'm going to do the circle right now. You can do that. So looking at the circle, because I'm doing the circle now, this is actually up towards the northwest, so not the southwest, unfortunately, for James. To be fair, though, I don't know how you predict something like that. It's a guess at the end of the day. But I'm going to do a prediction anyway, just to go on top of the board. We are actually having a fight between 628 and Dead Eyes guys. Currently, Yu Yang going down to Turil of Sir. I'm doing the play-by-play now, whilst John does the old stats.
You know what? There's
back.
too many. There's too
It's
many. I don't know if Imperium's listening. I know he's got all this.
Did you
stats
fail?
recorded. There's a lot going on right now, and I need to pay attention because Bigatron's in a fight for Painan with Nova, blank, and I feel like that's more important. I don't know if one of the guys in the back can run the stats on the average number of kills that you get when you win on Sanhok.
Yeah, bring it up, Jamie.
That's what we're looking for. But we're going to be looking for Bigatron to hold out on this Painan drop right now. Paradise Resort drop went the way of Rico Infinity. There's a lot of scrapping going over on the northwestern island. Blank, it's all popping off early here on Sanhok.
Yeah, it's popping off in major ways. 628 take a knock and a flush over towards that northwest island. We're not even over there, guys. We're over towards the northeast, boys. Over to the northeast. What are you doing? It's not time to fight. Now, MSC are chiming on up there. 628 are like in a really, really tricky spot over there now. So I'm not sure what they can do. Nova, on the other hand, they dropped on Painan versus Bigatron. Did take a knock in the meantime. That's Jimmy. Daoshi should be dead. Somehow he's got through. Wow. He's fast.
He's too quick. That's
Tracy Chapman over there.
He's a blur. It's Sonic the Hedgehog. It's it's Barry Allen. He's just solid sending it.
That's true. What the hell? All right, fair enough. Reject also take that. What is going on in this lobby?
Okay. He was gonna die there. I feel like he was gonna die. Wait, they're fully dead?
Yeah, they're fully dead.
Oh, wow.
So they took a knock from Dead Eyes guys. They took a knock from MS Chumbury. They took a knock from Four Rivals, and then I'm not sure where the other knock came from. So I can't give you information on that.
I think it was that last
but they are
one,
dead.
I don't know. Sure. Well, Bigatron looking to be a little bit more lucky, but unfortunately for them, Nova are on form today, blank, and Zuxi goes down on the wall here. Close to the river of Painan.
Yeah. Somehow they got Imperium's personal trainer to teach them proper form. Now they're really running with it. They're looking good. They're looking really, really good, John.
Ooh, fair enough. Reject over the way, though, might be looking out. And I think there was actually a knock towards Reject coming through on those hillsides. So Nova do need to be a little bit careful here. Paraboy, probably the most at risk. A vault up is not going to go well for King, but he slides straight back on down as Liquid rebuffs the Horde. For the time being, Liquid, Luxy, and Yuhai now. Last standing for Bigatron.
Yep. I'm not scaring that witch now. Oh boy. I won't say that left side. No. Was on the right side. It's difficult when you look at perspectives. It's on the right side now. It's on the right side now. But versus Bigatron, I think this is not the biggest tests at the moment with the way Bigatron's been performing. It's still good though, and it kind of ties into that same storyline that I was building up before, that Nova is pushing their limits, and I like to see it. Coming into finals, really starting to pop off now. This is the best time for it. Momentum, we know all about it. We want to keep seeing it. When you get to that finals and you're feeling hot, like a lot of times you can just dominate. Remember, we reset all the points to 0 in those finals. You're not having any of that excitement coming through that you know that you're super safe. If you're Infinity, you've got like 370 points. Here, when you get to finals, none of that matters anymore. It's all about who is the best in that moment over those 4 days. I think it is.
I think it is, yeah. No, it is 4 days. You're right. We're going to be seeing 4 days of competition. It's going to be great. Action. I'm ready for it. And I agree. The points reset. Whilst it is a thing, but it does create this environment of a new phase of the tournament, right? Where you can sort of get that reset on board. That mentality can come in and say, you know what, guys, we might have got in just in 16th, but everybody's now on a level 30.
I think Just looking at this fight once again, though, Painan's so difficult if you don't have it. That's a shotgun. If you don't have a strong start to the Painan fight, it does become very difficult to then remove the enemy team, purely off the back of the fact that you have to clear all these buildings. In which case, you know, production team, they're smart about it. They're like, this fight is going to take a while. We're coming back to it. So Bigatron just chilling. And I think that now they're set up, it's going to be hard for Nova to get in. I think one thing to consider here, though, is because this is an instant drop and Nova's been able to corral these players into this one building, there is no form of meds for them, whereas Nova's able to heal up all around them right now. So I think for Bigatron, it's a case of attrition right now. And if Nova can just play this one out slowly, not take it too fast, they more than likely will win because they have the man advantage.
4 rivals, they're rolling past the Deadeyes guys, and they're moving through on the northern bridge across to the northeastern side of the island. But Nova, they don't want to wait. They don't want to wait any longer. The shotgun's out of bullets, but Jimmy is down around the corner as the magazine reloads, and that is one flush coming through. Nox going towards Bigatron in response, though. Order finds one, pops up for a second, beautifully found, and down they fall. Yuhai on the ground floor now, last standing, has that shotgun still. And Order wants to open the door, wants to challenge it out. I think they know which frame he's playing behind, and they might just be able to spot it out. 8 slugs in the chamber. They need to find their mark. Make that 6 now as he pops 2 out, gets that reload off, and actually gets a couple more in, but it's not going to matter. Paraboy through the window.
And that is now them down to 3, but a good fight overall. Reject takes a nasty nade from MR5. Another one in hand for him. Tries to throw out the window, looking for Duello next. Ooh, a little bit extra damage, but Corpai goes down. So FaZe love to finish out this fight. Duello extremely low, but Sara able to blow up the vehicle and flush out Corpai, bringing FaZe down to 3. This has been such a hectic start here on Sanhok.
It feels like a lot of the time, Reject are getting caught very, very split flank, and this won't be any different in this scenario. Nades find Duello as well. Still down, Sarah and Reiji just really, I don't think that they can go for this push. I think they just have to leave Duello in this spot.
Yeah, he's dead. He's so dead right now. I think a Reject is, you've got to cut your losses, get out of here, and try find a position elsewhere. And be that sneaky, sneaky snake that Kalaris was talking about. That's true. There's going to be 2 snakes in this situation. Slightly more visible, but regardless, you try for it anyway.
Certainly do. 4 rivals. I feel like they turned around, actually, and went for the Deadeyes guys. They want to clear out the teams behind them. And now on top's just hiding.
To the West Bridge!
Popping stims. Yeah.
Back to kill Deadeyes!
I mean, fair enough. Maybe MS Shoburi might even come a cropper on this one, right? If they push out north, they might move into the 4 rivals territory.
Maybe. I think 4 rivals have been on a warpath as a unit.
Look at them go.
So funny seeing them all running.
They're like lemmings.
Everywhere. Yeah, I know. Everybody follow Happy, and everything will turn out happy in the end. Oh my god, this is great. This is my new favorite thing.
Oh, I love it.
It's the 4 rivals train. I mean, this could go. You know, I would love to just see a team just running through the entire map, just taking a fight with everyone and then winning on Sanhok. That would greatly please me. God Tony's actually headed out towards the West Bridge, so you know, 4 rivals might have to be a little bit careful. But again, the Infinity always go for this really wide split. It's more about information than anything. Now 4 rivals, back to the West Bridge, boys.
I feel like Gotani's information gathering here, right? He knows no teams are really going to push up towards him. There might be a boat landing there, but he could probably hide past that because they're going to be sending towards Tapmok. So it's great information for the Infinity, who have most of the northern side under their control, really.
Yeah, I mean, they'll be okay for the time being. Xavier, you know, let's just quickly talk about what the guys on the desk were mentioning. They challenged Recon Infinity Team a fair few times from Tapmok down to Paradise Resort, but Recon Infinity Team, you can see them right there, set up very early now on the rooftops for information. And Xavier realized, you know, it's not worth it. It's really not worth it heading to there. So they just ditched that. I don't think they ever tried to challenge Paradise Resort as a get-go. It's more a case of let's head down there later and try to take down Recon Infinity Team. But again, it's one of those things that it happens so many times that it promoted growth within Recon Infinity Team. And now Stalwart is bearing the brunt of that growth from them as they try and breach onto Paradise Resort. It's not working out for them.
Not just yet. MS Shonburi trying to move past 4 rivals. It's working out. They're probably going to heal up from that blue just a little bit before they get across that bridge where the Infinity actually now have 3 players posted up in decent sight lines. This push from Stalwart, they managed to find an ass. The Infinity team, they get another knock. They've taken another knock as well. Prestiga very low as he looks for the cross. The spray not quite connecting for Pika. But that could have been all she wrote. Fidan and Prestiga now last standing. No, they did manage to get a teammate up in the meantime, so there's 3 of them alive. As all 4 of Stalwart start to move in on the south corner.
I don't know what 4 rivals are doing, but we'll come back to them a little bit later. I think this has been a good push from Stalwart, honestly. Getting into Paradise Resort is not easy. I mean, they have to fight against MS Chamburi now because they've stuck around here for so long. Somehow MS Chamburi's got in front of them. Again, quite easy thing to let happen, especially in Hartin, where it is so building heavy, right? There's a lot of ability to get past. That's a bad nade.
Bad nade. That's a bad miss. And 4 rivals going to actually capitalize on that as well. Ponzai had to reposition, had to fade away, and around the side, they just move on through, smooth as anything. Not having the best of luck in some of these firefights, though, as NC2 hits the deck and gets the flush as well. MS Chamburi starting to turn the tides now. PG-13, with the last player very, very close by, might have just been able to find what they were looking for against the 4 rivals, Blank.
I think the 4 rivals has been a serious lack of gold for them, honestly. I don't know what they tried to achieve here on Sanhok. Right now they're achieving getting knocked out in 14. I mean, Liv finds 1, but even on top's not on this fight anymore because they weren't able to clear him out early. So yeah, I would say that 4 rivals, this was a directionless game that ended in failure, to be honest with you.
It's not gone well. It really hasn't. When you put it like that. Rico Infinity team still defending on the push against Stalwart right now. They've got some pretty decent angles playing up in the eaves. 3 of them alive. Action down. Stalwart going low. Look at these cheeky nades over the top as well. They're really giving Stalwart the run around here, Blank. It's not easy for him. Now staying alive. Stalwart is standing tall.
I mean, to be honest, I feel like Rico Infinity team have been in YPRAC, just getting all these nades ready and good to go, purely for defending Paradise Resort. Like that's their main goal. Whenever it's moved away from Paradise Resort, they've not had the greatest of games, but Paradise Resort really is their playground, and I'm loving this. You know, swinging from each monkey bar, making this place look like a jungle gym. Rico Infinity team, they're making this look really good. Unfortunately, going against Stalwart, who are an extremely good team when it comes to team fights, and this time they're coming to this fight with a lot of information. Downmore Gaming, though, also added to the mix.
And on the swivel, Stalwart actually, they started on the south side, and they traded places with the Rico Infinity team, and Forrest just moves on up. He's a scout right now for Downmore Kia, and he's just maybe ruined Rico Infinity team's chances in this fight. Just Prestiga left standing. Last player now for Rico Infinity team. SK-Ton down around the wall. Does Downmore Gaming move on up to this position as well?
I mean, for Stalwart, they have a good position to hold out Downmore Gaming purely because they're on the north side of the compound. Prestiga are going to be first to face. Does get taken down. That's Rico Infinity team out. So Stalwart able to do what DXavier have failed so many times in the past to achieve, which is to wrest control of Paradise Resort from the hands of Rico Infinity team. And put it this way, you know, Rico Infinity team, they were white-knuckled with the grip they had on Paradise Resort throughout the majority of this tournament. So a very, very big achievement indeed for Stalwart to be able to take this off.
And not only that, Blank, but they do it with all 4 players still alive, right? They can heal back up, sure. You know, they took some knocks, they took a lot of damage, but they are all alive. And having all of those sightlines in Paradise Resort is phenomenal. Speaking of sightlines, Cryptics find out about Daybot's position in all too brutal a fashion. 2 players down on the hillside. Senke pretty much unresable there. You're not going to be able to get that one back up, and Daybot guarding out the rest of them as well. Satar moves in for the flank. Enigma Galaxy are at their backs, so they might need to be a little bit careful. And Satar is going to be spotted as well. Lord falls.
I will say one thing. As good of a team Genesis Dogma is, and 100%, I do think that Daybot and Satar are probably one of the best duos in the lobby, if not the best duo in the lobby. they do play split like this so often, and I think that comes from a feeling of confidence, right? They had such a good time in that league play, and they were almost unstoppable. But I do think the Genesis Dogma need to go back to their old ways of playing as like almost a tight-knit unit that has a few of these flanking maneuvers that comes through. Right now, I think they're trying to control too much, and they're going away from that playstyle that really put them at the top of their game.
In comes Ralph and Amori. He's being cooked by Daybot, but he's been spotted, has to let launch, and the fire at the bottom of the stairs is going to force him to stay up there. They can just put nades in now, and they know Daybot's going down no matter what. You really can't do too much about it. Maybe try and get some retribution. Hope the nades go out the back, but Lazy Boy is still alive, and Amori gets broadsided. It's the Galaxy suffering heavily now around the side. Lazy Boy playing spoiler. Daybot still on trucking, and that fire's burnt out. He can start to heal up. Enigma Galaxy not looking as strong as they once were on this ascent.
The smoke comes down as well. I think Enigma Galaxy are like, we gotta get out of here, boys. Next circle, heads up towards that north side. DXavier still have a very nice position with this one, and honestly, not challenging for Paradise Resort has worked out in their favor. But still been that little overlook. That nade, I don't know how it's not hitting him, honestly.
That one should do it. There we go. Okay,
Yeah.
Finally, a nonsense put to the end, but Booms, it was just a click too late, right? It was just a little bit too late to be able to find the shots.
Please.
Before that
Let me
nade
have some points.
took down his teammate, but Daybot gonna struggle to crawl down. I mean, sure, the two forward players have been taken down, but Lazy Boy's still there. There's also still two players from Enigma Galaxy alive and out in the blue with a pretty decent angle on this. Daybot maybe a little bit isolated in that crow's nest.
Yeah, but look, this is much better from Genesis Dogma, and this is how they usually play, which is with someone in the backside, someone providing support, and one player playing Overlook and gathering that information. Having Daybot and Sitar go on these wild missions so many times, it just hasn't worked out for them so far, John. And I would like a return to normality, because normality makes me happy.
Well, Daybot is still alive. Sitar not so lucky, but they can get out of that. Cryptics lose another. Down to one. No limbs either. No more gaming. You get peppered down by MR5 there. I don't think that was taken away by someone else. I think that was taken away by, I think maybe even Nova towards the middle. Or was it Stalwart? I didn't quite catch the kill feed. But Stalwart going to have to leave Paradise Resort and move towards DXavier and MS John Burry.
I don't know how he's even seen Booms in that situation. Hey, man's got eyes of a hawk just like implanted in his head. So well played to Lord, I guess. But now just down to 2 for Enigma Galaxy. Not too many players remaining. Daybot making his way up to assist with Booms, but he's still far back in the circle. And zone 4, this is going to start to do a little bit more than just a tickle. It's going to start to scratch at least.
Yeah, that's not good for the health. Forest now last standing for Dan Wankia. FaZe looking to guard them on out southwest. The shift comes in southeast towards Nova, towards Reject. Infinity going to have to leave their compound, and everybody on that junction also going to have to make that dash.
It's a difficult push for anyone on that northwest side as well, because there are these compounds in play, so people can be spotted out from locations that you might not be expecting, where someone just pops out a window. DXavier and MS Chamburi most likely going to have to finish their fight. Luckily for them, they did get Lamborghini and Duck out wide, but Duck's gone down, and so is Lamborghini now, which is awful stuff. This is so unfortunate. This is the problem with this kind of circle, with the compound still in play. There's so many unexpected avenues of aggression coming through from teams. You're more than likely going to go down just purely because teams are going to see you before you know they're even there.
Speaking of that Stalwart, they're just getting crunched. I mean, they tried to make that dash. The movement through is so difficult. I think it's just Top now remaining. He's hiding out in his vehicle as well. Ordered looking to put the nades in. Actually gets a move on, so does shimmy on a little bit further, but the spray's not going to land. Okay. Pop gets away. How much further can he go, though? I just don't see him getting too much further into the circle. Maybe can bridge it out until maybe top 7, but that would be even asking for a little bit much there.
I feel like some fantastic Molotovs coming through from MSC. NC2, I don't think he's getting off this heal, so MS Chimburi will be going down, and Dick Xavier are able to weather that storm. Regardless, as Molotovs weren't able to allow him to fight. Order still holding his position in a fantastic way. I mean, finally gets taken down by that Molotov, but he's done so much work for the rest of the team to hold out teams like FaZe, Dick Xavier, MS Chimburi, and even take some damage over towards the guys on Stalwart. So Paraboy and King could quite easily move across towards a circle, which is on the southeast side. No one's in it, but Paraboy taking a knock will really hinder their progress.
Let's take a look at the numbers real quick, Blank. There is one team with 4 players alive, and nobody else has more than 2. And out of the 8 teams remaining, only 3 of those have 2 players. The Infinity, sure, they're on the long side of the circle right now, but there's so many players starting to heal out in the blue, starting that heal strat, that push south is going to be a little bit easier for them. Okay, they've taken a knock, sure, now they're going to have to slow down a little bit, but I feel like this march could go well for them.
Yeah, I think so too. I think for the Infinity, there is a possibility of them getting in. Coming from that north side, though, and taking shots down towards a lot of teams, it's a bit rough. They do have that big rock to play around, so it might be okay for the time being, but it's just a case of making sure they don't get caught out now, because any little player might be able to remove them, but Newsy pre-nays that. Goodness me. Honestly, this is what I wanted to see. I feel like Newsy was such a strong force on the Infinity towards the beginning of the tournament, fell off a little bit, but now he's back on form.
Such presence of mind from the Infinity as they move down south. I think they've left Godtunny out in the blue to go for that heal strat and move 2 forwards, getting those heals as well. Probably a little bit lackluster for the forward 2 if they've dropped their meds over. And with 4 players, if they dropped all their meds to Godtunny, he's going to have quite a few left in the bag. But I think there might be one other team out in the blue somewhere. I think it's down 1. Yeah, I think down 1 still have a healer going. The rest of them all in this circle. Logan takes a lick there. Grenade again. Comes in from Tony, but it's better from Logan. He sends it right on back, and FaZe eliminated.
The Infinity are just so good with these throwables, honestly, and it's just a case of like throwing them where they expect players to be, and really, I don't know how you challenge that out. Booms goes down for Genesis Dogma, leaving 1 player, I believe it's Nickel, out in the blue. Logan extremely low, but Enigma Galaxy still have a chance here in the circle with both players at full HP. It's going to be rough, but Godtunny's getting his way in. He's getting his way in.
Okay, he's making his way forward, sure, but Newsy now pushed out, forcibly extracted from the tree position, has to play by the smoke, sprayed around the side, and now it's just Godtunny. Enigma Galaxy, they've done it. They've taken the center of the circle. The question is, can Godtunny play spoiler and blank? I just don't think there's a position to do so. He's on the broad side of a hill. He has to move forwards. Forest might outlast him if he's lucky. No, there's not a first aid left for him. Down 1 Gaming lose their heal strat. The Infinity go out in second, well, most likely going out in second place. Blank, down 1 Kia, get a lot of points on board for a team towards the bottom of the tables. That's great news, but it's Enigma Galaxy to control this one. Godtunny makes the final mad dash. Lord should be able to spot this out. Just the last player. Has he made it in?
He's in!
He's met those beats. Oh, all right. Okay, that's enough. That's enough of that game. Lord closes things down, and it is Enigma Galaxy to take home the chicken dinner. What a chaotic finish.
I mean, Enigma Galaxy have been having a really good day today as well. And I said it earlier, like, they are really starting to pump recently. And it's that performance that we saw at the beginning of the tournament from Lord, from Freak, who were looking very, very strong from this region. And I think that the way we have to look at them for Enigma Galaxy is that like the way they play is quite slow at times, but they are also very, very aware of what's happening. And I think that the best way I can explain that is just purely from the way Lord played that final circle, which is the case there's 2 players out in the blue. Now, Lord can either hunt for them or he can stay behind that rock side. And I think that when he didn't get that final flush on the player from, I think it was Newsy, right? When he didn't get a flush on him, he knew there was 1 extra player from the Infinity. They can only come from that direction, so he stays behind the rock and just waits things out. And I think that's beautiful from Enigma Galaxy. It's just a case of being aware of everything that's happening in the circle and just playing out slow. Enigma Galaxy, one of the best teams on Sanhok, without a doubt in my mind.
They played that one phenomenally, and it was as well part of the geography that played well in that final circle for Lord. He knew that You know, there isn't that weird little dip that he can be coming from. As you say, he highlighted which side he was going to get pushed from, if he was going to get pushed, and he just kept eyes on. He had the full protection of that rock and an open hill to just watch as Godtani moved on through it. I mean, there's not a lot you can do there, you're right. But fantastic performance coming through from Enigma Galaxy to close that one down. They've claimed the second to last chicken dinner of the day.
Well, I was not exactly right, but I was damn close. Second place, Godtani doing the God plays there, gets Infinity up to a second place finish. But Enigma Galaxy, again, as we're talking about before, had a really lackluster first super weekend, but ever since then, they've just been piling on the points. 23 here as they get the chicken dinner and the 8 eliminations. I guess I was technically closest as to the eliminations in total, though I was still wrong on the team. But still not a bad match here. We had a lot of questionable plays out of, well, quite a few teams, Colors.
Yeah, I mean, I've never heard of the word number 9 before, so I don't know what you're talking about in terms of the eliminations. But yeah, Enigma Galaxy, what a performance for them over the last 3 games, and especially the way they're approaching Sanhok as well. They're lingering in the blue early for a long time, and there's nobody contesting them down towards those southern positions. So they come in late and are able to convert here. Very impressive.
I think it's about choosing the correct edge to play as well. They were able to recover after losing 2 in that skirmish, and they were just smart in their aggression. When I said this before, when they know what grounds are in front of them and they get enough info, they know how to work with that. And right now, sitting at 81 points from 4 games, 2 chicken dinners out of 4 games, that is insane.
Yeah, honestly is. And again, they were, I think, the 3rd or 4th highest scoring team in week 2, and they're continuing the paces here. And gives me a lot of high hopes going into the finals as well, to see if they can make it into the grand finals. And as we look down the list, 4 rivals, unfortunately, 4 points. What?
Yeah, go on, talk about 4 rivals. Go on.
No, I was gonna mention them really quick. I mean, 4 limbs, not bad, but again, I think it came down to that Western Island, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah. So, where do I even begin? Trifecta, and I understand what they're trying to do in terms of the rotation on the northwest island to then eventually dip on in. But sitting in Hearts in for as long as they did, you get 3 eliminations on Deadeyes, guys. Then just leave. You're not going to be you're not going to really be held, I think, by one person, and then you just go over to the mainland in some fashion or another. But then MS Strawberry rocks up, and you're just stuck. And then even if you win that situation, Infinity is going to take you out on the entrance because you've lingered there too long. There needs to be more decisive plays, in my opinion, on a battleground like this.
Well, we can see now FaZe kind of moves up to 15th place here, passing Deadeyes, guys. Cryptic still 6 points on the day, have yet to pass TJB. It's a really rough time to beat them, to be honest. And again, there is a world where Cryptics actually don't qualify into the finals. If you see the likes of the Xavier, Damwon, BTR all surpass and really start to charge at the leaderboards. But I don't think we've seen too much changing in Guard when it comes to like Secret and DRS. I think they've fallen one place each, or 628 was able to surpass them, and that's about it.
Yeah. The thing is about tracking these teams at the bottom of the leaderboard and see how they've been doing. So far, not hot enough, right? Like, we know FaZe Clan's doing decent, but the rest not quite there. And I think it's great that you mentioned Cryptics, Jason, because let's not forget that they ranked 1st in the most recent league play, and that speaks something when it comes to consistency and how to use momentum or whatnot. And sometimes we do say like the ability to bounce back is important, but knowing how to hold at the top is also important.
I really thought, Tarzan, that you were going to say, I'm glad you brought up Cryptics because Claris picked them earlier on, and I thought you were really going to rag on him about that one. But really quickly here, Claris, you can see the treasure box is still happening. If you guys are watching within the Esports Center or watching here on YouTube, you get points that you can use to unlock a permanent item, 1 of 3. Remember, if you are watching on YouTube, if you click the rewards button below the stream, you get extra points. And not to mention, after the 21st, there's another treasure box coming your way. It starts the 22nd, and you can get even different rewards, plus even some special rewards, some Google Play cards, and some Amazon Pay gift cards. Claris, what were you going to say, my man?
The funny thing about Cryptics in this game, and I'm actually going to defend them here, because I think they got dealt a rough hand, especially in this Sanhok, is they entered from the same angle that Nigma eventually entered at, but they unfortunately got kind of in a sandwiched position between Genesis Dogma and Nigma. So if you're there a little bit later, who knows what actually occurs? Maybe you then go on to actually win the game here for Cryptics. But yeah, they were dealt a rough one here for sure.
Okay.
I have a different angle. like, to be fair, like with that, because Enigma Galaxy in this sort of circle, how many times do they actually enter with that particular path? I feel like it's way too many times, so that would just be a different angle.
Well, here's our viewer thought question for y'all at home, and I'm going to go check it on West League while I talk about this. Is that the question is, can any team make the league finals with only one super weekend to claim points? Now, over in East, we haven't had that happen because BC Swell didn't qualify for the super weekend, but I'm trying to check over in West, and we do not have a team there either. But what we can say is realistically, probably not, I would say, in my opinion. It's really hard to qualify based off of one alone, especially with...
Right?
Well, it hasn't happened in East or West, at least this year. So we'll see. Maybe next year, maybe 2022. But one thing that is coming up is our final map. And you don't have to wait too much longer for that. As you can see, the next match starts in about 5 minutes' time. So we'll see you guys then to kick things off.
I saw the first light, the first steps. Now I see much more. I capture Earth in all its beauty. I see action. I see drama. And I see it in the finest detail. Moments of inspiration. And the first steps. I am the 1+9.
Speaking of the 1+9, funny enough, they're actually the sponsor here at PMGC 2021, the East League and West League, with its flagship performance and immersive 120Hz display and hyper-touch technology made specifically for gamers. The 1+9 and 9 Pro, your best shot to climb the leaderboards. I like how you breathed in the exact same time I did, and it felt like you were breathing for me.
Amazing.
It was really weird. We had this really, like, that was weird. That was odd. Don't do that again. That was, I don't know what to say.
It was good. It's too good. It's creepy, is what he's trying to say.
I knew he was going to do it.
Creepy.
I was ready for it, you know?
Oh, who would have thought that I have to breathe to survive? You know, that's a tough guess, I guess. But we are going to be heading to the final match we missed out on today. Is our last match of the day before we have 2 days left to Super Weekend. And at the end of Sunday, we'll know our 16 teams playing in the finals, where there's only 9 slots out of the 16 to get into the grand finals, to play with 6 teams from the West and 1 team invited from India. And of course, like always on the Super Weekends, we're going to end things off on Erangel. I don't think we've done our predictions yet, and I think we need to make sure to get them in as well, just to be extra cautious.
Yeah,
you know, I'm going to change things up as we tell production what our predictions will be. Okay, all right, okay, Kalaris. All right, that's a little bit of a stretch, but you know what? I like it.
I've given up.
you're pulling the Jason when it comes to predictions. But we are moving into this one. And again, we mentioned Cryptics. We talked about the rotation on Sanhok. It might have worked out better if they went a little bit later. But the fact is, 5 points, or actually, like 8 points on the day. I'm getting very worried that they might not even be able to qualify or hold their position.
Yeah, there's let's see, overalls, where are we at currently? They're teetering on the edge, right? And there are still teams that are looking to threaten. I think the one thing that goes slightly in the favor is that some of those teams that are kind of on the pursuit of them also haven't had that brilliant a day. So, you know, we may end up coming down to the last 2 days here of the gameplay, but yeah, there definitely needs to be more than this, especially from what we saw from them in the league play, which was great. Good stuff. They show that they can hang with this lobby, but right here, not so much.
Let me ask you this question then, Claris, really quickly. Actually, you know what? I want to ask you, Tarzan. I'm going to ask you, okay? Because this whole skit has already been, the shtick has been stolen away by Imperium earlier on, Claris. So now we'll have Tarzan do it.
Oh, good.
Is Deadeye's Guys a 15th place team?
Yes, They are.
Oh, jeez, okay. Oh, you're supposed to say no and like give your reasonings, but you went straight in. Okay, explain.
I don't really know why. Like, I actually don't have a reason. It's just like this is almost the first time that I've gone with just a gut feeling. I don't actually know why, but we for sure know they are still struggling. There's no signs of improvement or change almost, and there's a different angle to like this Super Weekend as well. Say TJB is out, BC Star is definitely out, so you have to be better than 2 teams out of all the remaining teams. Like, if you think about it that way, it may make you feel like, wait, we should be able to do it.
Okay, all right. I haven't seen you predict Cryptics, but maybe one day we'll see it. I mean, to be fair, the track record hasn't really been boding of us wanting to say they're going to win. But speaking of predictions, let's go into them. I'll start things off, and I'm going with the true and tried and tested team of the Infinity, who almost took home a chicken dinner in the last match, and obviously took one home earlier on today, where I finally looked smart for once. Kalaris, what about you?
I thought you said you were mixing things up, but anyway, I'm going with Nigma Galaxy because I've given up in terms of my predictions. They've already won 2. If they get 3, fantastic. If they don't, they've still won the day anyway.
Stalwart Esports from me. I feel like it's the first time that they didn't drop Novo from that Game 3, so maybe A for effort when it comes to the change.
Okay, well, it is time to head to our casters to kick off this final match of our first day of our final Super Weekend. It's John Allen and Blank once again.
Oh, God, James looks such a happy chappy at the end there. He was grinning ear to ear. Oh, what I wouldn't give to be as happy as Kalaris towards the end there. We are getting into the last game of the day. It's Erangel, the plane all the way from Severny to Primorsk, Blank.
Yes, all the way down from Severny to Primorsk. This could make things a little bit awkward, and I imagine Stalwart's going to drop towards Milter Power this time if they can get there. The entirety of the eastern side of the map is a bit awkward to get to, a bit tricky. You're going to see Xavier, Genesis Dogma dropping out early as well, trying to head over towards that side. Bigatron should be okay towards Farm, and 6 to 8 will be obviously dropped towards Primorsk. And please, please, please do not go challenge the Infinity. It's not going to work out for you, put it that way.
Certainly didn't last time around. I wouldn't be too surprised to see Stalwart drop out towards that Lipovka-Milter split again, Blank. Depending when they go out, they might try and drop all the way to military. It all remains to be seen, but everyone is starting to take the tumble out the side of the plane. The Infinity is going to be dropping all the way over. I haven't spotted Stalwart. Okay, they're coming out late, so they're going to try and grab vehicles and sort of and head to Novo by the field.
Yeah. So I'm actually predicting 4 rifles for this game to win.
Cool. Cool.
I think they can do it. 100%. If they can get that conga line running towards the center of the circle, it'll be fine. And this is what I was worried about. Genesis Dogma, as well as Xavier, crossing past. How does Rabbids not pick up that vehicle? It's literally right next to it. I mean, Daybot kind of deserved that. It was daylight robbery, taking that car from Rabbids, so... Frankly, that's okay. Oh, Genesis Dogma are having a bad time.
They're in a nightmare.
It's a bad day. It's a bad day.
But Xavier, they're having a much better time of it, though, for Xavier. Able to pick up 2 defeats this early into the game, Blank. You've got to be happy, especially when you're down towards the bottom of the tables, right? They're in 18th right now, as they stand, and they definitely need all the points they can get. And, having refrags sent their way is not ideal. What a long-range UMP spray with the red dot there. I love it. I love it.
Yeah, so I was just like, stop fighting us. It's not going to work out for you in the end, all right? You've got your win. You've got 2 of us. Now take that, go off to the bookies, and then finish up there, okay? Look, it was an all right time for them. It started off well, and I think that they just need to stop now, right, okay? And just loot up, find a better position in the circle. Genesis Dogma, you can kill them later. It's fine.
Get back later. It's all right. It's all right. Oh, dear. Oh, well. Stalwart managed to grab some vehicles. They're going to be starting to move over towards Novo. Still fairly late. The circle should be okay. Again, very, very central into this game. Not too much more drama in most other places on the map right now, Blank. I mean, everybody's fairly comfy in their spot at the moment. Rico Infinity team moving down south, I feel like might be the first spark of conflict, or Cryptics trying to cross the river. I feel like those 2 places are going to be the hotbeds for us.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair to you, I would imagine that most of the teams wanted a bit of a calm down from that Sanhok, right? That Sanhok was literally just a mess. There was mags littered all over the floor. There was people just crawling around. I was trying to get them to go home, but they wouldn't. It was a nightmare. So I think for Erangel, I think that having a nice slow start here is okay, other than the old rundowns earlier on. But who doesn't love a good old rundown at the beginning of the game?
Oh, that's true. That's true. Yeah, it's one of my favorite parts of the game, when things kick off with a little bit of action, and then we can just relax, take that step back, take one of those Jason breaths, and recenter ourselves.
I feel like Jason breaths are quite stressful. You know, it's almost as if like
okay, I've got oxygen.
Yeah,
now. I'm all right.
Yeah, exactly. It really did feel like he was on the precipice of death. And then, yeah, well, there you go. See, that's what you get. That's what you get. That's what you get for doing a Jason breath. Is it kills you? As simple as that.
It's like
This kills the man.
There's the kiss of death, and then there's the Jason breath, and it's equally condemnatory.
Yeah, but in game, it will not do that to you. It will only eliminate you. Happily.
Oh, no fun. No fun.
I'm sorry, but for you, death.
Uh-oh. That's unfortunate.
In-game eliminated.
That's not what I was planning to do today.
Yeah, it's okay. It's all right. Emma Strambury. Oh, towards Yasnaya. This is our spot now. We hold the entirety of Yasnaya. No DRS around. Ooh, bliss. We've got the north and the south side.
Lovely, isn't it?
Okay. I think for Emma Strambury, it's almost weird for them, because it must be like, what? Where are our guys?
They're
We're meant to be
constantly on
fighting
edge.
right now. Yeah.
Like they hear a door close and they're just like, "Whoa, what was that?"
Yeah, I know. It must be weird that you get into your third Super Weekend, you've been fighting for your life in Yasnaya.
Yeah.
And then it's like, third Super Weekend, a determined final. It's like, oh, well, there's no one here anymore. It's like Erangel's really free for them.
Yeah.
But I guess you're okay with that in a sense. Happy days.
It's also going to be interesting when DRS come back into it, right? Because obviously they're not playing in this Super Weekend. Yeah, to be fair, if that's true,
No,
but
I think that
it
probably come back
feels
in.
pretty certain that they're going to be good to get in into this next one. If they do, though, coming back into that fight, you know, it might mean that Emma Strawberry are maybe a little bit lackadaisical on their approach if they let it slip. So they still do need to be a little bit wary, and they can't spread out too much and get used to that in the next couple of days.
Yeah. Sorry, I was looking at the map feed and I looked back to the screen and it's just like a bottomless void that a buggy just fell into, and then we quickly switch away. I was like, whoa, what happened there? Right now, I think Enigma Galaxy is kind of the bottomless void because they are just sucking up all the points in this lobby.
They're Jason breathing all the points.
They are Jason breathing all the points. Basically, we have our very own Kirby in the lobby, which is fine. And we have a Kirby on the desk as well, apparently. But I mean, we had a point scoring, a little average come through from Mr. Imperium on the desk saying that they've hit a 20.25 average, which is pretty ridiculous. So that's 80 points so far today. In one day?
That's a major poggers, I think. I think that's a major poggers. I will go out on a limb and call it now.
Maybe
Phenomenal.
even Commander poggers, honestly.
Ooh, yeah. I like that. That feels like the right promotion.
Yeah, I think so too. We've promoted it now. But that was a really damn good day from Enigma Galaxy so far. And I would be happy to see them do well again. And with this kind of central circle, with their Pachinki start, yeah, there's probably potential for another big one.
Good old big and games. You love them. You'd love to see.
You're making fun of me.
No, I love. Look, I'm as much of a fan as the colloquialism as the next guy, but like.
Do you love big uns?
Oh dear. Oh
me.
dear you.
Well, you set yourself up for it. I'm sorry.
We're gonna have to fix it somehow. We'll be all right.
We'll get Bob the Builder in. Reject down towards 628. 628 trying to hold the bridge again. Why?
Yeah. You've got to wonder, but maybe, you know, now, this time around, to be fair, Newsy hasn't got to the bridge early enough to spot this crossing, right? So if he does get shut down on this forward position, that's Infinity's foothold taken care of, right?
Yeah.
Which is
sure.
what really saw them safe last time.
I still think it's going to go back.
Okay, all right.
Yeah. I don't know. I feel, again, like it's one of these central circles, like 6 to 8. Just go take like Gatka fields, go pick up some loot up there, possibly try and find yourself position. Like, there's no reason to be here. You could even have seen yourself over Severny and like over to the top side and find a wizard compound up there if you're 6 to 8. At the moment, it's such lazy rotations, in my opinion. Like, from Primorsk to Western Bridge, like ridiculously predictable at this point. I'll tell you tomorrow.
Okay.
First game of Erangel, 6 to 8 is going to bridge go.
Okay, fair enough. We'll have to have a look. But look at this, Infinity starting to move. The shift comes down south, and immediately see those steering wheel icons pop on everyone. Everyone starts to get a move on, getting that shifty going. Nova, they get caught on the tent. Goodness me, that tent is sturdy. I feel like if you're camping in that, you're not going anywhere.
Yeah, whoever put that tent up, they had no arguments between one another.
They
and that
did
tent was
DOV.
up in 5 minutes. Yeah, they were good. They were great. 4 rivals though. You know my prediction. It's one not going their way. It's fine. It's fine. Just you wait. They're gonna win versus Nova.
All right, Hamilton, I will wait. We are going to be going around the side for Nova, and they're backed up into the shack for now. Can't really get this res right now for 4 rivals. The nades keep on suppressing. Nova not quite committing. Paraboy moving on forwards. Order falls, and Nova struggling to get to the wall side now. Just Paraboy on this close push. King has to come in for the backup. That is a nade and a half, but luckily the drop down comes through. Pemboro looks for the challenge, but there's spray from 2 angles to deal with. Paraboy knocked, and another one to fall. Nova rebuffed on the push. 4 rivals with a sliver of HP are staying alive here, but they do stay alive nonetheless.
See, I told you, John. Just you wait, because I don't think you realise, but this is the room where it happens. And this is also the room where we begin the chicken dinner journey. All right? I'm telling you right now, this is it for 4 rivals. I'm thankful that you get it. I think the Tarzan would get this as well, wouldn't he?
Maybe. Maybe he's in his
theatre
wheelhouse.
now and again.
He does do that. I've heard that he does that.
Yeah.
It's very dramatic.
Well, I wouldn't say Tarzan's dramatic. I think you're pushing it there.
No.
I would say that...
Look,
no. I would say that Nick McGallick's...
Don't tell me what my headcanon is. I've already written.
Stop it right now.
I've already written the story, and I am the main character.
All right, fine. But you can't be, because Nigma Galaxy, currently, they have the most multicolored haircut going, and they are obviously the main character. And like I was saying, talking of dramaticism, I think that their point scoring today has been dramatic, in terms of an increase as well. 4 rivals. No, stop. Please. Live, goddamn you.
You're just giving them CPR from up on high, right? Like,
yeah,
in the map
basically.
feed, just trying to pump the blood around their systems manually. Seems to be working. They're still going.
Yeah, I'm sitting at Olympus, giving them hope for glory.
That's true.
That's the intention.
That's what happened.
That's what happened. The Infinity, God, he's in a
Oh.
boat. But he's the only one in the boat going to ferry. Oh, this could be a genius play. If he can flank 628 from the left side whilst the rest of Infinity cross, this is a new strat. It's a new strat. I love this. This is my new favorite thing. It's 4 rivals. Get in the bin. I don't care anymore. This is my new favorite thing. Maybe I'll come back to help 4 rivals later, but right now, this is it.
Maybe. They're going to die in the meantime. You know that, right? It's going to
Stop
happen.
it.
The question is,
No.
do the rest of Infinity go across in separate boats, in separate waterfields, or are they going to wait for this to come through?
They go to the bridge.
Okay.
They go to the bridge.
All right.
God Tunny flanks.
Okay.
And now they have a big problem because they're going to be open on the bridge side, because that was what they did last time. They were so open there. Unfortunately, 628 now leaving.
They are.
But God Tunny's in position regardless.
That's true. It would have been great. It would have been phenomenal.
This is so bad.
It's not fun. It's not fun, is it? Oh, ooh, a little bit of retribution, though. Yu Yang spots Senke in the field. Likely going to claim that flush as well, but oh, no, Marshall. He's got cover as well. Very difficult to move around now. Jeff actually pushing forwards to look for this res. Spray down, so Yu Yang just gets sat down. Goodness me, what a shot from the K9. At range as well. Mini 14 towards El Chapo, trying to stop this res onto Senke. And the rest of 628. really kind of struggling at this point. I mean, Sunan, sure, Daoshi on that hillside. The rest of Cryptics just don't want the rest of this fight.
No, and now you got the Infinity, who is going to come in from that southwest side and most likely crunch you, like I crunched some crisps yesterday, loudly.
What?
And I will also demolish. I demolished those crisps for context. All right, and that's what's going to happen to 628.
What?
It was a big bag as well. Okay,
Oh, yeah?
For context.
How much of it was air? Was it an airy bag?
No. When I opened that thing, like the crisps were staring at me.
They jumped at you, right? Like right out the top. They were like,
leapt. Okay.
It's quite the task. I'm proud of you, man.
There is a literal death squad on the way in the form of the Infinity, powered by crisps.
Well, to be fair, if you're American, you'd be powered by chips. And you know what's powered by chips?
I don't like that.
The OnePlus range of phones.
That's
They
true.
got some great chips, mate.
Do you know what else comes in forms of chips?
Chips?
Tokens. And
Oh.
no, tokens.
Oh, okay.
Tokens. If you're watching in the esports center or on your phone, on your mobile, you can head over towards that esports tab and earn yourself some PMGC tokens, which you can then use to put towards some fancy loots and rewards. And you might look better than God Tunny when he gets knocked and eliminated in game. But yeah, go to the esports tab, get your watch on PMGC, grab those PMGC tokens and spend them towards some fantastic loot in game. And, you know, we hope to see you repping it.
All the information is on the in-game esports center, so make sure you head on over and check it out. Infinity moving up from the south side now. Close to Cryptics. I don't know if they know these players are right over the hill, but all four of them are alive. The nades start to roll down the hill now. They're locked into the fight. They'll know what's up. Infinity on 3. Maybe not looking for this fight, but neither are the Cryptics. They look to just disengage here, and fair enough. They want to get to this next circle on a hard southeast shift.
It's possible for them, definitely possible. It's gonna be slightly tricky, considering they have to go through past 628 as well as Reject, who already set up on the coastal side. Bigatron, you know, this is their ground, and finally we do get a push that comes over towards them. Deadeye guys take 2 knocks on the approach.
Oh, make that
3.
Liquid going to be able to turn down the heat just a little bit as Deadeye's guys, they will continue to leave Professor Tarzan just completely disinterested in their performance, because that was not ideal. That was not ideal.
No, it was not good at all. I mean, the push-up, this is probably one of the harder buildings to actually crunch onto, considering the way that it's set up with the 2-story, with the ability to come out on the balconies. 4 rivals are flying in. Okay, I'm back on the 4 rivals train. These guys are the best.
Friendship with Infinity is over. God Tunny died, so now now 4 rivals
These are my new best friends. All right, I'm ready for it. The chicken dinner is back on the cards.
Ooh, you love to see it. Genesis Dogma don't love to see 2 players from Stalwart, though, running them down. Booms in the shack, runs around all the way to the back, gets flush out of danger, but right into the fire. Booms falls, and with it, Genesis Dogma.
Stalwart actually in a fairly decent spot, actually, with a 2-2 split over the way. I think the only issue is that top is down. We'll need to get back up again, but 628 don't pose much of a threat off in the distance there as 2 players. 4 rivals have all the casts in the lobby. Every single one.
Wow.
They are now belong to them.
That's quite impressive, actually. I am impressed. The Infinity moving towards Reject's position. One of them got knocked on the back there now. Just Newsy standing. Not just Newsy, sorry. Has a teammate in Mela. Trying to push into Reject's building. Newsy falls and Mela struggles to get past the knelt form of Newsy. In the meantime, Cooking Hat and Nade wants to try and pop one in towards Ragey, but really unlikely to work out there. One out the window for Ragey. Mela should be able to see that. The smokes are there. Newsy getting rezzed.
I mean, this outpost outshack is a little bit awkward to deal with. Nice Molotov, though, to block the entrance to it, but hello, goodbye.
Oh, that was on the nail. Perfect nade there for Ragey. Gets the re-knock, gets the kill. Excellent stuff coming through. Reject hold 4 alive, southwest side.
This is a good position to be in for Reject. I mean, like, they haven't taken many casualties either with this one. 4 rivals Oh my lord, through the cracks. You could barely fit a bit of sunlight through there, but Top hits a Mini 14 bullet for it too easy.
It's a whistler.
4 Rivals though, it's a real whistler. I think for 4 Rivals though, they are in a very, very difficult position to play, to be honest with you. Like, getting out of this one, you know, it's gonna become, I don't know. I don't know how they get out, basically. They have to hope the circle comes to them.
I feel like when people are at range, it's okay. When people are close by, it becomes much more dangerous to be where 4 Rivals
Nade territory, right?
Exactly.
I think now is the time for 4 Rivals basically to post up in vehicles and hit Reject's compound. Because in this position, they're not getting that chicken dinner. And I need them to get the chicken dinner. Okay?
You do. That's right.
I need them to restore my faith in them. FaZe, on the other hand, need to have some faith right now, praying to God that they don't take any more shots from MSC.
Really, wouldn't be the most fortunate of outcomes for them. MSC already with 1 defeat on the boards, and they're looking for more damage pouring in towards FaZe. They are really having a bad time of it. Rico Infinity team have the back as well. Yeah, they were just caught there. Nothing really to do. FaZe down with just the 1 elim. 6 elims already found. Those defeats, I mean, they can pass for 4 Rivals, but as you say, they're in that vehicle divot. They are going to have to leave, most likely, although the circle does go towards them.
Yeah, I mean, with this circle, I hit a little bit earlier. I do think that taking Reject's compound would be ideal. It's a question, how do you get over there? I think really you need to create a smoke train. I don't know how many smokes 4 Rivals currently have on board. They haven't taken too many fights since the one with Nova. Sarah is focused on the Xavier as they come in though, which is good for 4 Rivals.
There we go. Shots from Reject though, pouring out still towards 4 Rivals. It's Reject trying to hold out.
It's third party time now, 4 Rivals. Come on. Get over there.
They aren't mounting up just yet. Not just yet. I feel like they want to hold this on for just a little bit longer. The northern push is coming through as well, Blank. So all of these teams are open for them if they want to take the shots out that way. They continue their fight on the longhouse. It's not going well. Reject are again rebuffing them. Lamborghini, that's not where the nades are supposed to go. That's unfortunate. The Xavier suffering. Rico Infinity team pushing in towards MS Chonburi.
I'm just seeing arcs and arcs right now. I feel like I'm in the longest anime that's ever been around. We'll see what happens though. Right now, a lot of teams, like you said, just flooding over this northern side. MS Chonburi, Rico Infinity team currently sat at 4 players still alive for them. Bigatron in a similar position, but getting closer put to 4 Rivals position will allow them to just nade through. So 4 Rivals, they need to be really present here right now, taking shots, making sure people can't get close, get some casualties through. Pebombera will find 628, one of the players there, Sunan in position. I feel like 4 Rivals are just letting other teams try and take this God compound.
Oh my god, Rico Infinity team crunching down with MS Chonburi. And you've got as well Bigatron across the way, starting to move in towards this fight as it's MS Chonburi to fall, but you have to wonder how close behind a Rico Infinity team, right? They've got to still move south. The circle shifts to Reject yet again, Blank, and this compound is just doing so well for them.
Yeah, get out of this awful area, basically. I think that, yeah, okay, we're starting to make a move. 4 Rivals, saved by the smokes, but the question, how many smokes they have left? 6. Solwa is actually in a really, really strong position on this eastern side. They've got a lot of cover to play around with, and with this split they have, they're probably one of the big contenders in this current little circle for the victory. I mean, Reject have been doing great, but they can only take so many pushes onto their building.
3 in the vehicle, going to reposition. They have the ridgeline cover, so I don't mind this too much. They really want this high ground. They were trying to clear up Bigatron so that they could move up and again just take that down shot towards 4 Rivals. Excellent headshot coming through from Rico Infinity team for Dan. Niels Ragey. Bigatron move forwards. 4 Rivals with the nades in a nice place, but Liquid doesn't go down to it. Not just yet.
God. Hello. All right, they're in. Reject's taken 1 knot. It's actually a perfect time for Rico Infinity to get in here. I love that 4 Rivals have been so close the entire time, but it's Rico Infinity teams like Xavier, all trying to take this one. But right now, 4 Rivals are taking a fight with Bigatron. There is still a potential chance that this moves away from the compound, and this could be a genius galactic brain play coming through from 4 Rivals that I'm just not I'm unaware of.
Fidan doesn't quite get the nade through the window there. Ragey did get rezzed. Now it's two of them on this compound. Four rivals suffering as Stalwart again maintain that pressure over their direction as Bigatron trying to fight through them as well. Appy getting knocked, but has a bit of cover there. Bigatron, they're getting peppered down by Stalwart as well, as the struggle is going to be real for them. Zuxi last standing now. Don't think he's going to get too much further.
Yeah, most likely not. I think the only thing that really Four Rivals have going for them is that they have the circle, and 628 still have to move across open ground to get in. But taking another knock there is disastrous. And realistically now, Four Rivals have to fight us through. They can't afford to take time to pull up another player. But Action, once again, doing what his namesake says.
Speaking louder than any words they'd care to throw back. Four Rivals down to 3 with a knock as well. A long-range nade trying to find the miracle three-pointer, but Action gets behind cover as well, avoids that spray from Bura. Wait, hang on a minute. It hits. It dunks straight on top of them. And now there's only one player for the Four Rivals. Excellent nades. Stalwart just dominate on the eastern side. That is a mean circle as well, Blank. Oh my god.
Yeah. Well, I said about 1,000 times that Four Rivals were probably in the best position to third-party any fight that was going on down towards that compound. There was even time between, and you might say to me, yeah, but what if they got third party from the north side? There were times when people were taking fights on the north side where they were so preoccupied that no one would have cared if Four Rivals jumped into one of their many vehicles and moved over towards Reject's position. I think Reject deserves to win this game by all rights, but I do think that Stalwart still have a very good shout into this. The thing with Reject is that they've weathered so many storms here. This is a bad push.
Yeah, oh dear. And that's a bad push, you're right. Ragey goes down as well, and it's just Divine. Rico Affinity Team sweep up over on this compound. Fidan, yeah, he's going down here. That should be a flush. Actually, Rezable for Ragey as well. Divine might be able to get back up to 2 as Action gets cut down in the open field. Last player for 628 picks up the kill as well. 3 players from Stalwart moving onto the building. Nade being cooked by Top, but the door gets closed, but it's not going to matter. Falls to the nade, and 3 players from Stalwart now moving in to the compound's longhouse.
I mean, Sunan has actually helped out Reject just a little bit. Divine drops out the side. Let's get a little bit more done. Just still shooting out. Stalwart looking to push onto this one, though. Our final game of the day here. Nades over the top. I mean, they're successful with them earlier. I think when that first one hit onto Four Rivals, it was just a case of, okay, let's throw more.
Let's go. Let's pop them in. This is a difficult push, though. The upstairs-downstairs threat as well. Split. Reject probably likely to come at least second here, I would say, unless Rico Infinity Team try and push upstairs.
It's a difficult way to play this one out, John. I think Reject definitely have a chance to make this work in a 2v3 with Rico Infinity Team also being in this. I think the main question for me is what that next circle looks like, because depending on which building it hits, it's either a Reject very scrappy win or it's a Stalwart just dominant win. Because if this is actually a good circle. This is a good circle for both teams, and it gives opportunity for both. But I do think it favors Stalwart just a little bit more with their man advantage.
Let's position on the next circle. Difficult. Look at that. Smoke's already been dropped out by Reject. Team. They've been behind this building for so long. I mean, this crash really worked out well for them, Blake.
Yeah, I like this though. They've got the 4-man team squad in terms of Reject X Rico Infinity Team at the moment. We're doubling up at the moment. Another smoke out the window. Buying a little bit of cover. Prestigo's adding a couple to his own. Goodness me.
It's actually
getting very smoky.
It's interesting because Reject are actually smoking out the breakout for Rico Infinity Team as well. I mean, Stalwart should know that. Yeah.
I'm not. This is good though from Reject. I mean, they're molotoving the smoke to make it very hard for Rico Infinity to push out. Stalwart just pushing them in. This has just been a masterclass on utility in the final moments of the game. Stalwart have pushed in. Ragey finds one of them.
Oh, there he goes. He's going to fall top, managing to get the shot. Now it's just one player, Divine. He knows where these players are, but I don't think he has any nades left. Is there a corner of this building still in for Divine? I don't think there is. I think he's going to be waiting for the shots. He gets shut down over the top, looking for the point as well. Managed to get it, but can't get out of the zone. Will fall, but in the meantime, Stalwart crunch on in from the eastern side. They oversaw the position for 4 rivals, and they will push into the compound. Lickety split. It's Stalwart back on top.
I mean, that was a very, very good game from Stalwart, and they looked like probably one of the most well put together teams on the map in that point in time. They looked like they were coming into basically a cat fight, and they were like, let's break this up now, because it was very clinical the way they approached that final circle. Though I think 4 rivals are really disappointing me there, honestly. I'm sorry to say it, but there are some very, very good reasons behind it, though, because they start off that game strong. They have momentum behind them. Sometimes you just need that first squad wipe to make you feel a little bit better about yourself, which 4 rivals obviously did. Get themselves into another position, and then just don't go anywhere or do anything with it. Surely you know that is one of the worst spots in the circle towards the end game, because it is so nadeable. Once you get into nade range, like it is curtains for you, because they just drop onto that position, drop into the shack. And for the other teams, it's just kind of like playing basketball, but one of those little kiddie basketball nets where it's like just in your bedroom against your door. It's easy 3-pointers there. So I was just confused. I was very confused.
I thought that nade from Action had gone a little bit long, but I didn't realize it was just taking its time, right? It was just building up for us. It was pretty. It was a pretty nade. I'll give it that. I really liked that one. Really put the final nail in the coffin for the 4 rivals. Plenty of crashes, plenty of movement from some team and not from others, but Infinity, the first team to go down to the reject push.
I mean, look, let's put it this way. Reject rebuffed about probably like 4 or 5 teams on those pushes and maintained a pretty high member count in terms of their team. So I think that Reject did a fantastic job in the position they were given. It's like sometimes you're gifted a very strong spot within the circle, and then you're just expected to win, or we might think to ourselves that like, oh, that's just a winning spot. For Reject, it really wasn't that case. It was because people were rocking up onto it, they had to hold it, and they did so versus a lot of teams. And like I said, it's a masterclass in utility and a masterclass in holding a compound down. Really, really well done.
Yeah, 9 kills came through from Reject on that hold. Very, very good stuff. But it was 11 eliminations coming through for Stalwart for the chicken dinner. Let's head back over to the desk for the final time of the day.
Final time of the day, but not final time of the tournament. Still have 2 days of Super Weekend left to go here, but Tarzan, the floor is yours. You got the correct prediction. Go ahead and gloat about it.
I'm happy. Yes, I'm the best. It's the first time I've done it. It feels weird.
Hooray,
guys,
well
but
done.
To be fair, the way that they played Shark Fin was very well done. I've been thinking about how you shouldn't full stack on there, but they know they play those 2-2, they work from the shack, and just increase the control of the eastern half of the circle. It was a good win. They went back to Novo, but it makes sense, right, for the playing path that was given.
Indeed. I know we're watching that match actually at the very end, Clarus. You were very vocal about, I think it was Divine from Reject, playing inside the second story of the building.
Yeah.
The blue zone closed it on him. I mean, he did get one confirmed though, at least, but you thought he could have played that situation a little bit differently?
I mean, if it's me, I'm thinking, maybe I vault out, maybe I try and just play for a little bit of a cover on where I think it was the small container is in front of him. But I mean, it is a minor thing, I suppose. Like, he knows that for the most part, he's probably going to get eliminated as he goes out there anyway, considering that Rico Infinity had made a really nice move up on that western side. And then overall, ST had full control over any crossings that would go on there. So, yeah, I would have vaulted out. But, yeah, I can understand also kind of why he didn't.
Yeah, it was a very tough match there. I mean, you saw 4 rivals as well. I mean, I don't even know what you want to call that, but explosions going off left and right behind their wall of buggies, and eventually didn't make it that much farther, but still 14 points. And again, for the only team to be in like the top, I want to say like 10 with 0 chicken dinners, they're still put on a really good performance, being about 3rd overall in points. I think maybe Stalwart has surpassed them with this last victory. But as we move on to the second page, taking a look, Infinity, my choice not working out, but you know what? That's okay. I got a victory today. Name of Galaxy 2 points. Dime 1. Again, you talked about Dime at the start of the day, Clarus, but they still have yet to really come into their own, I feel like. And with each passing match, I feel like their hopes of qualifying are falling further and further out of their hands.
Yeah, it's been middling for the day as a whole, right? I mean, they have got themselves actually some decent placement points overall, but when it comes to eliminations, 6 eliminations I think it is in total across the day, that's still not good enough, regardless of how many placement points you get, unless you're getting constantly second. So they still need a little bit more than this, but I'm still hopeful. Still thumbs up, still hopeful.
Yeah. I mean, what about you, Tarzan? Do you have like similar thoughts about Dem 1?
Yeah, I think so. I think the attempts that they had, I mean, like, yes, for sure, a bit more hesitant. I mean, they for sure have stopped the way that they were growing a little bit, but it's just one day of extra data. I still feel like they are doing the right things. It's just about making it more efficient. I mean, if you just want to compare teams around the bottom, like Dead Eyes guys doing a lot worse. I'm sorry, but it's just so hard to even remember the time that they pulled off a decent fight or very, very good rotation.
I mean, Dead Eyes guys, they were 16th place at the start when they qualified into the first Super Weekend over Bigatron by 1 point. But really quickly, top here, 5 limbs, 967 damage. And Kalaris did say that we would all agree that if Stalwart come out top on the finals, we're all going to dye our hair.
You know, this
like
I thought this was your idea, and
that we were all going to do. That you agreed on. You said, I just don't know how. I mean, yeah, I do. I just don't know how well it'd go with the ginger beard.
I mean, you're talking to the person that had pink hair and white hair for the past year and a half. Meanwhile, you've never dyed your hair in this time period.
Not
so I don't
true.
think you're daring the right person here compared to you. What do you think about that?
In that time period, you are correct, but I have bleached my hair before, except those pictures will never be seen, though I think you have seen it maybe once throughout our career together working in the office. But we see throwables here coming through. I mean, surprised to see 4 rivals have so many, considering the amount of nades that went their way at the very end. But again, really using that to transition and get into better positions.
I feel like it stings me to say this, but I'd like to talk about cars and how they're parked and stuff. And to be fair, I think 4 rivals could have had a very different result if they just parked their cars well behind the shack and just keep 1 or 2 alive. And I think that is where they lack a little bit. When they've got these positions, they need to know how to keep teams at bay and think about what it could mean for themselves if they ever need to rotate away.
I mean, overall, it's not been a bad day for them, right? But as you say, like, we were calling that they were going to get absolutely bombarded about 12 minutes before it actually went down. Like, it's so difficult to hold on to that position when you're as clumped up as you are. I mean, if you arrive there a little later or maybe have a 2-2 split across another location, maybe you can make something happen. But where they were, it was almost assured destruction.
We'll look at the leaderboards here. It is getting a little bit worrying for Cryptics. Only 13 points on the day, though it was enough to pass TJB. But looking down below them, FaZe, 35 points on the day. Bigatron, 28 points. Dead Eyes guys, 21. Damwon, 32. Xavier, 23. At this current pace that's going, again, I haven't calculated this out properly. I feel like Cryptics, if they don't step up and have at least a couple of decent games in these next 2 days, they could be knocked out of top 16.
Yeah, people are catching up. Cryptics got to watch their back a little bit, especially considering what we saw at the end of that league final, the league week here for this. They looked really, really good, but we have not seen that convert just yet. I do still think there are some hands that they were dealt a little bit rough here today, and they kind of just came in at exactly the wrong time, which didn't play out too well for them. But still, you can't entirely excuse just 13 points.
Yeah, like the pressure's getting very real. I mean, you look at this point separation between the bottom teams, it's just 1 decent game away that could propel you like away from the pack. And I think that is quite scary for the teams who have yet to find those performances.
Taking a look at our limb rankings actually across those super weekends, I am just like floored to see. If you look at Genesis Dogma, 55 with Daybot, 50 with Sitar. That's 105 points in limbs alone across these 3 weeks. They've gotten more points together in eliminations than some teams have gotten for an entire week. Like, that's just how much damage these guys are putting down for Genesis Dogma and how lethal they can be as a team here. I know you've been a big proponent of them as well, Tarzan.
The thing is, we have to be harsh, I feel like, from time to time. Like with them, if you just draw graphs and curves when it comes to how they've done through the days, today is one of the worst days that they've played since we found the new love for this team. There's something that's not quite working. The controlling of pockets a little bit half-hearted, and they just don't know how to cut their losses. You can say like the circle's been hard on them, but there were certain things that were not going as smoothly as before.
I think it's really cool as well. I mean, I know you want to talk about this, Jason, but I'm not going to let you for a moment. The dynamic duos that we're seeing here so far, as you say, Daybot and Satar, a fantastic duo. The 105 kills between them, eliminations. We got Newsy as well as God Tunny, 53 as well as 47 eliminations, respectively, and then Top and Action, 44 eliminations and 43 eliminations. Those three duos, in my opinion, they're the trifecta. They're the trio that are fantastic so far.
Yeah, they have been, and then it's just Paraboy. Doesn't need a duo. The order has definitely been stepping up. I remember the treasure box is still going on. You can see it's going to end on the 21st for the first box. If you guys are watching the Esports Center or watching here on YouTube, you can earn points to get them unlocked for permanent items. But also remember, down below the stream here on YouTube, you can click the rewards button, get extra tokens, and then go into the 22nd of December till the 10th of January, we have our second box coming for you with different rewards and also some additional rewards on top of that. So make sure you guys are watching as much as possible, clicking that rewards button as often as possible. Just remember, don't spam it because I don't think you get points every single time you click it. But here's a quick little recap of what all went down today. So we got to see some life back in Nova, but Nick with Galaxy taking them to chicken dinners. And it feels like it's not very often we ever see a day where Infinity or Stalwart aren't on this page.
Yeah, I think it's been kind of oppressive today, right, Tarzan? I think like when we've watched the winners come in, it's been really a case of the rich get richer. Like these top teams are really not giving much room to some of the teams towards the bottom, and I think they've really got to step it up at the bottom.
That's the way they have to play. Keep scaring people away, like adding pressure without, even being seen. That's the thing. You're so scary that teams don't even come close to your drop spot or your rotation pass. So that's part of the, psychology thing that you can, come in as well, throw in with the mental game for sure. And I think that shall continue with some of these teams.
Yeah, and speaking of continue, we will be continuing tomorrow at the exact same time here for a second day of our final week of the Super Weekend, which means we only have 5 plus 5 is 10 matches left in total in our Super Weekends for teams to make through the top 16 or defend their position in that top 16. We'll see you guys tomorrow for some more PUBG Mobile action. Have a good night.
Can't see what's written tomorrow. Some call it fate, but one thing I know, this time I will be in control. I'm caught in the fray, but we'll survive the battle. One for glory. All our brothers in arms feel the fire. We're conquerors, never back down. The battle tells a story of survival. The challenge will never be over. This is the race, it's not the end game. You have to believe you can win the world.